A very good evening to you all. Thank you for watching UBC television with me, WADULO Mark Arnold. This is your News Tonight edition with Muhammad Mugalu on sign language. Before we get into the news bulletin, let's take a look at tonight's top stories. In our stories tonight, ESC heads of state officially launched the 42.4-kilometer ESC Arusha bypass. Justice Minister designate Norbert Mao vetted and vows not to resign as DP President General. The Centenary Bank receives 105 billion shillings credit line to boost micro, small and medium enterprises. And Kenyan sports icon Boniface Salano hails Uganda government for investing in sports. Well, thank you for tuning in. We now give you the news in detail. To start off, the East African community heads of state have today in Arusha, Tanzania, launched the 42.4-kilometer ESC Arusha bypass that is part of the multinational Arusha, Holili, Taveta and Voi road that links northern Tanzania to the Kenyan port city of Mombasa. The Arusha bypass is the first phase of a project that was constructed to decongest traffic in Arusha and Moshi towns in addition to promoting intra-regional trade. The financing for phase 2 has been entered between the government of Japan, Japanese International Cooperation Agency, and the United Republic of Tanzania with a financing agreement of 24.3 million yen, which is equivalent to 413.85 billion Tanzanian shillings. Outgoing ESC chairperson Uhuru Kenyatta and his host Tanzanian President Samia Suluhu Hassan launched the road, accompanied by President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni and President Evariste Ndayishimiye, President Hassan Sheikh Mohammed, and the Federal Republic of Somalia was also at the event as the guest of the summit. In other news, the Prime Minister of the Republic of Uganda, Robinah Nabbanja, has rallied the people of Soroti City behind supporting National Resistance Movement candidate Herbert Ariko Nabbanja, or rather Herbert Ariko Nabbanja, who pledged government support towards renovation of markets and rehabilitation of roads, encourages locals to embrace NRM for more development. She said this as she rallied the people to vote wisely in upcoming Soroti East by-elections.
Prime Minister Robinah Nabbanja's first stop was at the residence of NRM National Vice Chairperson for Eastern Uganda, Captain Mike Mukula. Bulldozer. She was here to meet NRM flag bearers, both winners and losers in the previous elections. She urged them to vote the NRM candidate Herbert Ariko in the upcoming by-elections.
Let us not look at him as Ariko. We are looking at him as NRM. NRM is bigger than all of us. Have you ever seen a Prime Minister coming here to campaign? No. Why have I come? Are you the ones who invited me? No. I am here because of the other spirit of NRM. It is a taboo for you to have our flag and people see you moving up and down looking for a vote of another candidate.
It is this similar message that they carried to the field as they canvassed for votes. Mike Mukula stormed Soroti Center seeking support for Herbert Ariko.
Kitu ambayo tunataka hapa jua kali ni maendeleo. Au namna gani? Kweta kabuli mutye nanga linaka ntukadeyo ako akabera.
On the other side of Morwapesuru in Kengere Ward, Nabbanja was seen doing what she does best. Her message to the people was simple: vote Herbert Ariko.
On Thursday, next week, on 28th, wake up very early in the morning and go to vote. When you are given this ballot paper, just look at number 2 and look for a bus and put there. Don't make a very big mark. Just
Nabanja looked at the need for Soroti City to have more development in both social and economic infrastructure.
Akaluke mukuba kansonga. Twagala nkulakulana. Are we together? Twagala malwaliro. Ekyokubiri twagala enguudo ennungi. Twagala masomero. Ate amasomero ani agalina? Ani agalina?
Despite being independent but FDC leaning, Soroti West Constituency Member of Parliament Jonathan Ebwalu reaffirmed his support for NRM's Herbert Ariko.
I am an independent Member of Parliament leaning on the FDC party, but I am not here to campaign for NRM, no. I am not here to support NRM, no. Neither am I here to cross to NRM. I am here for only Honorable Herbert Ariko.
President Yoweri Museveni, who is also NRM's National Party Chairman, is expected to join the campaigns on Monday, 25th July 2022. Elections are slated for Thursday, 28th July of this same year. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Parliament has vetted Norbert Mao, the Minister-designate for Justice and Constitutional Affairs, a day after his appointment by the President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. Now Mao, after facing the Appointments Committee, chaired by the Speaker of Parliament Anita Among, vowed not to relinquish his position as the President General of the Democratic Party. Also vetted was the woman Member of Parliament for Agago District, Akelo Beatrice, who was appointed Minister of State for Economic Planning under the Office of the President. These are the details.
The walking style describes his confidence as he arrives at Parliament to face the vetting committee.
When you're a minister, it's your duty to advise.
Norbert Mao, the popular leader of the Democratic Party, appeared before the Appointments Committee to verify his appointment as stipulated by the law of the land.
The transition is continuing. There are some people who will wake up and they'll be talking about the transition and they'll be told that it has been done.
Norbert Mao was appointed Cabinet Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs a day after a cooperation agreement was penned between NRM and DP. As he waits to swear in, Minister-designate Norbert Mao will in good faith promote values as required to achieve social, political and economic success and stability of Uganda.
Have you ever heard the President talk about abolishing bail in the Constitution again? I wasn't a minister. I wasn't anybody in the government. Let me tell you, even you, the media, if you give good advice, it will be listened to. So the quality of advice also matters. I can only pledge to give high quality advice.
The debate on the controversial agreement between DP and NRM has taken another twist, as Norbert Mao is not ready to abandon his position as Democratic Party President General.
And I'll continue discharging my duty as the President of the Democratic Party. I've heard voices calling for me to step aside. I think the reason is not the cooperation of agreement. The reason would have been, for instance, if members said you will be too busy.
On Thursday, 21st July 2022, a section of members of Parliament subscribing to the Democratic Party stressed that Norbert Mao, who did not share with them the agreement, should resign as the DP president. The legislators described Mao's decision to work with the NRM as a two-faced move.
We are going to elect another president. We are going to. And be it known to Norbert Mao, however hard it is, whether we are going to go through legal processes or anything, we shall invest our all to make sure that we draw a very thick line between the NRM and Democratic Party.
Even when Norbert Mao is sworn in as a minister, if we go for the NRM parliamentary caucus, he will not be attending because he does not belong to the NRM. He belongs to DP.
Also vetted were the recent judicial officers appointed by President Yoweri Museveni and the Minister of State for Economic Monitoring, Akelo Beatrice.
It's our responsibility to show to the budgeting committee how useful the office and the docket is. Because if every time we are in the field monitoring, that requires resources. Definitely they will give us resources when we make the office active.
Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gutabinji, UBC News.
National Resistance Movement NRM members have welcomed the move by the Democratic Party Chairman General Norbert Mao to join hands and work with the government. An NRM historical ambassador, Crispus Chiyonga, says that it is not the first time government of President Museveni is poaching on such intelligent brains. He lashed out at Mao's critics, saying that the agenda of developing Uganda should not be based on political parties, but on patriotism and common goals. These are the details.
Busongora South County in Kasese District heads for a parliamentary by-election on 18th of August after court nullified in a campaign Gideon Mujungo on accounts of indulging in electoral malpractices in concluded 2021 general elections. The Court of Appeal ruling compelled the Electoral Commission to conduct a by-election in which NRM's Gideon Mujungu will face off with the FDC's headliner Jackson Mbaju Katika in a hotly contested by-election. Pre-campaign activities in the district are already in high gears, especially the ruling NRM party. The party is setting strategies like reconciliation meetings and negotiations with those who aspire to contest within the party as it depends on how to pull out and leave the seat. For one, Gideon Mujungu, if the party is to reclaim the seat.
Our main subject this afternoon has been to pronounce ourselves and endorse our flag bearer, Honorable Gideon Mujungu, for the by-election which is taking place in Busongora South. And as the District Executive Committee, we have been discussing strategies on how to recapture our seat in Busongora South.
One of the party officials, the State Minister for ICT, Godfrey Kabianga, says all those within NRM who intended to contest as independents have all agreed to step down in favor of Gideon Mujungu.
As soon as they heard that he had lost the court case, they didn't even think about it. They just came and said, this time we are with you. And that one is really unity, which you cannot underestimate and underrule.
The candidate himself says although Kasese has been portrayed as an opposition stronghold, NRM still commands overwhelming support as opposed to the opposition FDC.
The theory that there is a lot of opposition in Kasese, I don't agree with this. First of all, we have been having 3 MPs in parliament with 3 MPs from opposition. Does that mean that the opposition is greater than NRM? No. In the district council, we command 73% of the district council, including the head. So the perception that there's a lot of opposition in Kasese is more of a theory than practice.
The NRM Director Communications, Emmanuel Dombo, who has been in the district for pre-campaign activities, commended the party officials for the unity and the teamwork.
I want to take this opportunity to thank the District Executive Committee of Kasese for the demonstrated unity and unanimity in supporting the candidature of Honorable Mujungu for Busongora South constituency. For us as a secretariat, we are committed and we shall come and work with the District Executive Committee and the task force set up for the constituency to ensure that the planned victory is effectively delivered.
Philip Aguta, UBC News in Kasese.
Furthermore, leaders of the DP bloc platform on Friday joined members of the DP Parliamentary Forum to denounce recent decision by the party President General Norbert Mao and Party Secretary General Gerald Silanda to sign a memorandum of understanding with the ruling NRM government. During a press briefing at Speak Hotel in Kampala, the DP bloc leaders said that the decision to sign the memorandum of understanding went without consulting them, automatically disqualifies them from the top leadership of the party. These are the details.
Leaders of the Democratic Party DP Bloc Forum have expressed their dissatisfaction regarding the recent decision by the party President General Norbert Mao, together with the party Secretary General Dr. Gerald Silanda, for allegedly signing a memorandum of understanding with the NRM without consulting the relevant party structures. In a joint statement read by acting DP Bloc chairman Samuel Lubega Mukaku at Speak Hotel in Kampala, the members said that Mao's action wasn't a surprise and was long overdue. However, they cautioned him against transacting any official political business on behalf of the party.
DP Bloc has taken a non-compromising decision to work closely with organs of the party to effect the due process of relieving Norbert Mao and Silanda of their party positions and President and Secretary General of the Democratic Party, respectively.
We want him to be also civilized, not to cling on to our party. He has deserted us. He has acted like an administrator of the estate who has sold it.
Mukaku says the members have already started to mobilize DP members and well-wishers to work on the party's future. Information, Communication and Technology Minister Chris Baryomunsi has also weighed in on the current happenings in the old political party in Uganda, cautioning DP diehards to go slow on Mao since he has not yet joined the NRM, but still a DP member.
Appointment, the instrument appointing the Honorable Norbert Mao, it clearly states Honorable Norbert Mao will serve as Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs, but Norbert Mao is described as the President General of the Democratic Party.
Following Mr. Mao's memorandum of understanding with the ruling NRM party, the National NRM District Chairperson's Coordinator, also Kalungu District NRM Chairman Haji Twaka Chiganda Sonko, together with the Bukoma Nsimbi NRM Chairman Bashir Semakula, have also embarked on wooing the opposition in Greater Masaka to emulate Norbert Mao by working with the NRM to deliver services to their people. The DP bloc is composed of the Social Democratic Party, Truth and Justice Platform, and the People's Progressive Party, PPP. Edward Kolinjuko for UBC in Kampala.
The aggrieved NRM Yala aspirants have withdrawn an interim order and a temporary injunction application they had filed against the NRM Electoral Commission chairperson, Dr. Tanga Odoi, and the party. Through their lawyer, Robert Rutaro, they now want the main application to be heard expeditiously since the applicants want to participate in the coming Yala election. Details in the following story.
These are NRM members who had vowed to contest as independent candidates in the forthcoming parliamentary by-elections in Busongora South County in Kasese district. The members, comprising mainly from what they term as 5 minority tribes in Kasese, says they wanted to contest as independents because they are being marginalized by the
Last week, NRM East African Legislative Assembly ERA aspirants filed a suit in High Court Civil Division against the NRM Electoral Commission Chairperson Dr. Tango Odoi and the NRM party. Among the application filed was the interim order and a temporary injunction asking court to quash the SEC decision of retaining the 6 incumbent in ERA elections. They also asked court to maintain the status quo of the electoral procedures until the main application is heard. Justice Musa Sekana is presiding over this matter. However, the applicants Friday morning decided to withdraw an interim order and a temporary injunction application, now remaining with the main application in court. Robert Rutalo is the lawyer for the applicants.
The NRM elections for flag bearers of ERA is imminent. So we thought in order to save time, it's better we withdraw. My clients instructed me to withdraw the 2 applications in order to give chance to the main application of judicial review to be heard expeditiously and in a timely manner.
The applicants now want court to review and quash the decision by NRM SEC to reinforce the slots of ERA to 6 incumbents.
Then we also asked court to summon the Secretary General of the party, Right Honorable Todong Richard. We asked court to summon him as well to come to court and to cross-examine him because he's a member of SEC and he's the one who communicated the decision of SEC. So we wanted him to come to court and give court information on how they arrived at that decision.
The respondents NRM party and Dr. Tango Odoi are represented by Counsel Samuel Sebofu. The affidavits on court record filed by NRM party lawyer Oscar Kiyika, the applicants would have sought for remedies from the Party Election Disputes Tribunal before coming to court. The NRM's Electoral Commission chairperson Dr. Tango Odoi, in replying to this application, told court that the decision by SEC was in line with the party constitution and structures, which the appellant's lawyer Robert Rutalo objects.
The affidavit of Dr. Tango Odoi and the affidavit of Mr. Oscar Chika, Senior Counsel Oscar Chika, are empty in as far as this case is concerned. They are full of lies, and you are going to file affidavits in rejoinder, and you are going to expose these lies.
Judge Musa Sekana set 25th July 2022 to hear the main application. The 6 NRM's ERA incumbents endorsed by SEC on 8th July 2022 include Rosa Akulo, Martin Mojenyi, Paulo Musamali, Dennis Namala, Jojo Odong and James Kakoza. Deborah Namamonde, UBC News.
Now in more news, Minister for ICT and National Guidance Dr. Chris Bariomonsi has assured the public that government is undertaking necessary steps to address the high prices of fuel that have had a grave impact on the prices of other essential commodities on the market. To this effect, government is also supporting the production of raw materials and value addition to increase Uganda's revenue base. This is what we had to get.
So here we are equally concerned as government, but we are taking measured steps, but again also watching the global dynamics, and we do hope that eventually the situation will stabilize. But of course we also have to look at what is dictating the changes, the fluctuations in the fuel prices. And as somebody asked, are we engaging these companies, Shell, Total? Yes, through our Ministry of Energy, there are engagements with all these companies. And there have been those calls that maybe we reduce the taxes or take some other measures. But like the President urged, these are cosmetic measures which do not address the real issue. Countries like Sri Lanka actually took drastic measures to cut taxes and put other measures. But instead, the situation got worse. And toward the end of the address of the President attempted to explain and justify why government insists that in order for us to make progress, we should support adding value, not only to our coffee, but also other commodities and other resources that we have. And the argument is that we should do everything possible to process the coffee from within Uganda, so that instead of selling the raw form of coffee, we sell it this way. So the other value addition should be done here so that we earn more money in Uganda rather than donating the money to the outsiders who don't even grow coffee, but they reap more from the coffee, and yet our farmers who put in all the energy do not get as much.
Furthermore, Uganda Printing and Publishing Corporation, UPPC, has committed to establish a security printing company in collaboration with consortium of Germany printing company Veritas. This was disclosed by the corporation managing director Oluka Kenneth while marking 120 years of printing business.
As pioneers in the printing business, Uganda Printing and Publishing Corporation, UPPC, commits to leverage on the experience of 120 years to hatch more innovations to meet dynamic demands of the printing industry.
And the process has started. It may be slow a bit, but we want to be able to put all the materials in our archives in a digital format that can easily be accessed by users, and they do not necessarily have to come to Entebbe UPPC. It can be accessed anywhere in the world once you put them in a digital format.
While marking 120 years in the printing business, the corporation has disclosed strategies of establishing a security printing company for security jobs. This will be achieved through collaborating with the German printing company Veritas.
But that factory, it will have the capacity to print money. It will have the capacity to print money. And that is aimed at, saving on the foreign exchange that we use for printing money abroad. That is the ultimate aim of that factory. Now, this partnership has already taken about 4 years.
The protectionism from government has contributed to the survival of UPPC. The standing presidential directive of all ministries, departments and agencies are supposed to do printing with the UPPC.
The President said that 40% budget of printing in all MDAs must be dedicated to UPPC. And I want to assure that the Office of the President, through the Office of the Minister, we shall try to see that we inculcate this directive.
The Uganda Printing and Publishing Corporation was established in 1902 and entrusted to produce all government publications. At 120 years, the corporation is committed to go digital for easy access. Abdul Nasser Luwama, UBC News.
The Japanese government has availed $1 million to the government of Uganda through the World Food Program to support the people of Karamoja who have been struck by acute food shortage. It is estimated that over 18,000 children and 6,000 expectant and breastfeeding women are in urgent need of rehabilitation due to malnutrition.
And development partners are putting efforts together to ensure that people in Karamoja region are saved from starvation due to acute food shortage that has struck the region. The Japanese government, through the World Food Program, has availed $1 million to aid in the distribution of food relief. It is estimated that over 18,000 children and 6,000 expectant and breastfeeding women are in urgent need of rehabilitation due to malnutrition.
Japan is committed to food security, and Japan also takes part in supporting this humanitarian assistance initiative by contributing $1 million for procurement of emergency food for saving lives of Ugandans, our genuine friends.
The World Food Programme is calling on other entities to complement Ugandan government in securing the lives of people in Karamoja.
Even as we respond to the emergency needs in Karamoja, we need to work with government and donors to think of and implement sustainable and inclusive interventions to strengthen food systems so that they work for the most vulnerable. Over the years, it is concerning that we have seen the number of people experiencing high levels of food insecurity in Karamoja grow.
In the same line, government is working on long-term interventions that are directed towards ensuring food security in Karamoja region.
And the discussion is around having more areas go into agriculture production by opening huge expanse of land and irrigation, so that with irrigation we shall be able to beat the climate change related issues, plus construction of varied dams so that there is water for both the animals and human beings.
Government has also approved 135 billion Uganda shillings to help in food distribution. Adia Nakuti and Sudat Kaye, UBC.
The State Minister for ICT and National Guidance, Joyce Nabosa Sebugwao, has challenged local leaders to preach the gospel of ICT among communities for faster, transparent and cheap service delivery to Ugandans. Ms. Nabosa was launching the Regional Communication Infrastructure Project targeting Greater Masaka region at an event held in Masaka City.
State Minister for ICT and National Guidance, Joyce Nabosa Sebugwao, has been in Greater Masaka region as part of her tour to assess government work. Her first stopover was at Masaka City, NIRA offices.
And so we have the way there.
While in Masaka City, Minister Nabosa also presided over the launch of the fully-fledged NITA Uganda regional offices and ICT command center.
Elections in Parliament at 31.
The station, which is monitoring and fostering ICT activities across all the 4 districts of Greater Masaka, is supported by a multi-billion solar plant.
And this is the same one which also gets traffic to Mutukula and the farthest border areas around here. But it also boosts the signal to the western region. And as Edie mentioned, also to Mbarara, Bushenyi, Kabale, to even to Rwanda.
This system, we are really privileged and grateful to government for the support and introduction of this system in the criminal management systems. This system has really supported us so much in reducing crimes, especially crimes which are related to technology. So we are able to view, prevent, proactively actually, fight crime in line with the other stakeholders. So as I talk now, we have reduced our crime rate in Masaka by about 12%.
We have many government systems. We have seen NIRA, we have heard of USB, police. We are digitizing them within those organizations, but Mama, we want to now integrate them. NIRA can talk to police. If someone is overspeeding, we saw that person overspeeding, and want to know, okay, this should maybe.
Later, the minister also witnessed the launch of Regional Communication Infrastructure Project in Masaka City.
I was in Rwanda some time back, a year back, but they are well equipped with this system. In
Greater Masaka sub-region, RCIP has connected a total of 60 ministries, departments and agencies, some of which include NIRA, which is used for ID and the birth registration.
The ICT sector has over the years been vibrant and dynamic. It has now turned into an inevitable and tool for socio-economic development.
Local communities of this region are now being challenged to tap into the available opportunities.
All the services that government is putting in place are for the citizens. And then we hear citizens are complaining government doesn't care. Government is doing a lot of work.
Mr. Sebugwao reiterated the government's commitment to offer accessible ICT services to all sectors of development, including the oil sector.
Plans are underway between NITAU and the Petroleum Authority to run an optical fiber along the pipelines which will connect all unserved communities.
With reliable electricity, infrastructure like roads and programs like PGM across the country, and all this being eased by ICT, there is definitely a light at the end of the tunnel in as far as prosperity for all is concerned. Robert Onyango, UBC News.
Let's now take a short commercial break. When we return, we'll be back with more news tonight. Stay tuned.
Ni MTN Kabode Super as you pay mpola for this smartphone. Make calls, update your WhatsApp status, watch YouTube, and Google anything under the sun with 2 GB worth of data every month for 7 months. Simply make a small deposit of 99k and pay the balance mpola. You can pay in daily, weekly, or even monthly installments while you enjoy your new phone. So what are you doing today? Visit any MTN shop near you and get the MTN Kabode Super easy.
Are you a player in the tourism sector with a struggling business following the COVID pandemic? UDB, in partnership with European Union, is providing financial assistance to businesses operating in the tourism sector. You can access subsidized loan with grants, loan with a tenor of up to 5 years, free business advisory services, and free environmental impact assessment. Visit www.udbl.co.ug/call for applications to apply. Deadline for submission is 31st October 2022 at 5 p.m. For more information, please call 0414 355 509.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial *149*10# to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial *149*10*5#. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial *149*10# to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Oh, Susan, I want to propose to Rose. Yes, and this time I am serious.
Have you guys had sex?
Duh, of course.
And have you had sex without using condoms?
Hey, Nga, you're curious.
I'm more concerned. Are you having sex with other people?
Hey, hello, is this an interview or what?
No, just things you should think about. Do you know Rose's HIV status?
Okay, this is serious. Should I be worried?
It is actually serious. Do you know your HIV status?
I think I am safe. Many times we get into situations that put us at risk of HIV. However, the first step to ending HIV is getting tested and knowing your results.
It's Time Up HIV. Call 0800-211-046 or text 8080 toll-free for more information about how to prevent HIV.
This message is brought to you by Ministry of Health with support from USAID.
The Oil and Gas Moment, brought to you by Petroleum Authority of Uganda, creating lasting value in Uganda's oil journey. Uganda's oil and gas resources are located within pristine environments. The oil and gas activities are benchmarked on Uganda's updated environment legislation and on the international best practice standards in order to continuously ensure coexistence between the oil activities and Uganda's rich biodiversity. This is being achieved using improved technology to reduce environmental footprint, mapping of sensitive ecological features for avoidance, improving standards of waste management and development and implementation of tools for environment management. These include the Albertine Graben Environment Monitoring Plan, Strategic Environmental Assessment, various environmental sensitivity atlases, and the National Oil Spill Contingency Plan, among others. For more information, visit www.pau.go.ug. Petroleum Authority of Uganda, creating lasting value in Uganda's oil journey.
A World Cup in the desert? The first one in the Middle East. The first to be held at the end of the year? That's crazy. Get ready for spectacular moves, high-flying saves, unbelievable goals, out-of-this-world celebrations.
Would you believe it? What a moment here!
All 64 matches live. That's over 5,000 action-packed minutes of the FIFA 2022 World Cup Qatar. Now that's crazy. Catch all the action only on SuperSport, your world of champions. On Go TV. Love it.
Welcome back. You're still watching the UBC News Tonight. We now take you into the world of business. Proparco, an institution under AFD Group, has given a boost to Centenary Bank to support micro, small and medium-sized enterprises in Uganda. A credit line and portfolio guarantee equivalent to 105 billion shillings support to micro and small and medium-sized enterprises, focusing on agriculture, microfinance and enterprises.
Of the companies, according to various reports on the impact of COVID-19 on Uganda's MSMEs, saw a huge decline in orders and anticipated an increase in operating costs, which were unlikely to be absorbed after the lockdown.
Proparco has granted Centenary Bank a credit line of 105 billion Uganda shillings to support businesses affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. This is part of the support towards the development of Centenary Bank's impactful activities.
Proparco Group has granted our bank a credit line and 2 guarantees that will boost our capacity to support micro, small and medium-sized enterprises in Uganda, with a specific focus on agriculture, microfinance and enterprises that have been affected by the COVID-19 pandemic.
This guarantee will be later supplemented with a technical assistance grant to reinforce the capacity of the bank in this area.
Our bank's capacity to support small, medium and agricultural businesses in their growth journeys through flexible collateral requirements and affordable interest rate offerings compared to the market.
Uganda's economy has micro, small and medium enterprises which have been affected and need financial support.
So the financing package will be part of the Choose Africa initiative, which is an initiative which has been launched by the French government, dedicated specifically to African entrepreneurs, startups and MSMEs. As of today, more than 3 billion euros have been approved and we are well on track to deploy the announced 3.5 billion by the end of the year.
And including today's financing package, we have deployed 180 million euro in Uganda, out of which 2/3 is in the banking sector and the remaining in energy and corporates. And this is a sign that the banks like Centenary Bank deeply play their role in supporting the economic recovery.
SMEs are in France and also in Africa, and I think in all the countries, a major part of economy.
Because of the delivery costs of the microfinance and SME.
The project will contribute towards achieving sustainable development goals on zero hunger, gender equality, decent work and economic growth, clean energy and fighting climate change.
We always wanted to the lowest funding cost so that we can charge a modest rate to our customers.
Financial services are not a luxury. Financial services is a must. And then that's one of the difficult things to get in Africa.
I therefore call upon small and medium enterprise businesses owners to seek financing options from our bank to support their operations and grow their business.
Sandra Kahunde, UBC News.
Agribusiness Initiative has announced the rollout of the Green Challenge Fund, which focuses on supporting SMEs and farmers to increase their resilience to climate change and climate variability. Climate mitigation actions also to reduce or limit greenhouse gas emissions. Stronger local environment, including soils, ecosystems, and biodiversity. The Green Challenge Fund, worth 7.5 billion shillings, will also promote the development of methods and systems that address green challenges in agriculture and to promote a green agri-food system.
The ABI Green Challenge Fund will support partnerships through green agribusiness investments for climate change adaptation, mitigation and biodiversity conservation to further contribute to economic growth, job creation and improved incomes.
We are also opening up participation along 3 key segments, and that is investments and ideas at ideation stage, investments and ideas at piloting stage, and at a growth and acceleration stage.
ABI's Mona further noted that Uganda's agriculture is evidently experiencing a rapid decline in its growth rate, mainly because of the effects of climate change and the population's dependence on agriculture, combined with changing climate patterns, and unsustainable land management contributes to the country's position as the 12th most vulnerable to climate change globally.
Because this is an agrarian economy where at least 70% of our economy is fed off agriculture, it's important that we come up with the solutions, we the actors, we the agribusinesses, we the scientists, the NGOs, the researchers, anybody with a brilliant idea that is worth investing and feel that it can intervene to make a change with this crisis that we are facing.
Felix Okoboy, chair of the ABI board, noted that the drastic change in our weather patterns and climate is a clear signal that no one should sit back and wait for the government or development partners to do something about the adverse impact of climate change.
If the temperatures rise by 2 degrees, then layers don't lay as much. So there are real-world implications of the effects of climate change. It's not some exotic concept. It has a very disastrous effect on farmers, on businesses. So those are the things we want to also talk about. So apart from the funding itself, we also would like to be at the forefront of promoting awareness on these issues.
Additionally, the fund is an initiative that speaks directly to core areas of interventions including value chain grant financing, lines of credit, agriculture guarantees, as well as technical assistance or business development support to build the capacities of financial institutions to finance agriculture and agribusinesses efficiently.
So important to everyone. Everyone thinks erroneously that climate change is something that affects developed countries more. Actually, it affects developing countries more than it affects developed countries.
The Green Challenge Fund is open to all actors that make contributions to the ABI-supported priority value chains and have innovative and green ideas, private sector agribusinesses, NGOs, scientists, researchers, and startups. Sandra Kahunde, UBC News.
A newly equipped citrus training and education center has been established in Teso sub-region to bridge the gaps in marketing orange fruit produce in the region. Thousands of farmers in Teso sub-region are now expected to acquire various skills in value addition to enable them fetch bigger markets for their produce around the globe.
Citrus farmers in Teso sub-region were left disappointed by the long-awaited fruit factory that failed to consume the oranges in the area, leading to breeding of price fluctuations.
I know there's a fruit factory, and again I've been having problems with the name of that factory. To me, I thought it's going to be a fruit processing factory or juice factory. But it's like a fruit factory. You can go and get the fruits from there, not the juice, not the value-added kind of products.
This compelled the Korean government through the Korea program on International Agriculture Agency to build a training center in the region worth 450 million shillings to empower vulnerable farmers.
I don't expect any compensation from you and benefit. All I want is your happiness and increase your income.
Willing and able to be a good partner and sustainable partner to Uganda that is striving to achieve social and economic transformation.
This center will focus on training farmers on value addition through processing during bumper harvest in order to penetrate the international market.
Like the fruit itself, we'll be able to market the orange fruit on its own, and how best can we present it, how best can we package it, how best can we ensure that when it goes to the shelf in the supermarket, it will be of the desirable quality and it will be able to stay longer than it usually would be, at least a month or so.
While receiving the new facility, TESO local leader thanked the Korean government for the initiative and committed to expedite the process of installing power in the facility for its operation.
We are going to work with the other partners, and particularly leaders coming from this area, to make sure that we put here power. Because right now we're using a generator, and the cost of maintaining that generator may be tricky. So we play to make sure that power is connected to this facility.
According to the recent survey conducted by National Agriculture Research Organization, farmers have overshot their expectations after both incomes and yields per hectare annually were increased by 208%.
When we did an average overall, the increase in the incomes of the farmers was from 2,861,707 shillings per annum to 8,815,358 shillings per annum.
This has been attributed to the continuous collaboration between Uganda and Korean government agencies in the different fields of agriculture. Joseph Oko, UBC.
Furthermore, savings and credit cooperative organizations have been asked to embrace digital banking. According to Transformative Technology Solutions, this will ease savings and give security to people's money. It's against this backdrop that the Transformative Technology Solutions has introduced the Core Bank Plus application, which will help SACCOs to make banking transactions. This was revealed in a meeting organized by the Transformative Technology Solutions, which was attended by SACCO members from different parts of the country.
So that is one of the most important things which I want you to do. We have SACCOs at parish and SACCOs at constituency. Emyonga is constituency, PDM is at parish. What about if I, Ronald, set up at the parish to take care of those illiterate guys, those guys who are not easily going to catch up if we want to fast track this? And they set up office. I'll have created employment, right? But somebody who is going to tell them exactly what they should do. So the SACCOs do what they do best, as you said, and somebody at that level does what is great, what to do. Is it possible? That's also the meeting of the minds. So with that note, did you say to close this? With that note, allow me, ladies and gentlemen, to close this powerful meeting.
So guys, we need to build the SACCOs so that the members can trust. So if you cannot trust your own institution, who will trust them? Because we want to build strong institutions, we've prescribed the minimum standards, behaviors and conduct. I will not mention everything, but let me pick out like three. These institutions we are regulating, especially SACCOs. SACCOs must be well capitalized at all times. These people who are digitalizing the SACCOs, they have to work with us, so that when I say, what is your core capital, they should just a click of a button and they get the answer. Core capital total assets at this 10%. We also have another measure of capital adequacy and institutional capital. Institutional capital, when you divide it by total assets, it should not fall below 8%. So the regulator will welcome this initiative. We welcome this initiative in the sector. All the circles, if they can uptake on this one, it will be a good thing. Because you see, when we say report on this and they can't report, everything has to be managed. What if it's right? It's just the click of the button and we receive the report.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ni MTN Kabode Super as you pay mpola for this smartphone. Make calls, update your WhatsApp status, watch YouTube, and Google anything under the sun with 2 GB worth of data every month for 7 months. Simply make a small deposit of 99k and pay the balance mpola. You can pay in daily, weekly, or even monthly installments while you enjoy your new phone. So what are you doing today? Visit any MTN shop near you and get the MTN Kabode Super easy.
The Uganda Bureau of Statistics, in collaboration with the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance, the Ministry of Local Government and PDM Coordination Secretariat, is undertaking the Parish Development Model PDM baseline data collection required to inform the implementation of the PDM. The PDM goal is to transform households still in subsistence to the money economy. The data will be collected from the households in the country by parish chiefs, supported by other qualified staff appointed by the respective local government. All the information collected will be treated with utmost confidentiality. This is to appeal to the general public to cooperate with the data collectors by providing correct information. For more information, please contact the Office of the Public and Media Relations on 0755 342 128 or 0414 706 000 or 0783 026 780. This message is brought to you by Dr. Chris Mukiza, the Executive Director, Uganda Bureau of Statistics.
At Timex Nutrition Center, we advise you on the right foods to eat, exercise profile to adopt, and lifestyle strategies which are compatible to your blood group and genotype. This empowers your body to prevent and treat many diseases like diabetes, blood pressure, arthritis, ulcers, obesity, and many others. For more information, find us at our head office in Kampala on Nassa Road, Conrad Plaza, 2nd floor, or call 0758 819 952 or 0778 288 361. We also have other branches in Bara and Jinja.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial star 149 star 10 hash to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial star 149 star 10 star 5 hash. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial star 149 star 10 hash to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
I remember the lockdown, when the streets were empty and our lives disrupted, when businesses closed and our livelihoods hung in the balance. Hospitals were full. We lost loved ones, jobs, and hope. Our children couldn't study anymore. We cannot let this happen again. We should not go back. Get fully vaccinated against COVID-19 and join the millions of Ugandans who are already vaccinated.
The Electoral Commission has appointed 21st Thursday to 26th Tuesday, July 2022 as the period for candidates' campaign meetings for the by-election of directly elected Member of Parliament for Soroti East Constituency and City Division directly elected Councillor for Pioneer Ward in Soroti City. During this period, candidates shall not use or publish any language or defamatory words which incite disorder, hatred, violence, or which threaten war. The Commission urges all candidates, their agents, and the public to adhere to the harmonized program and set rules and regulations guiding the campaign period. All persons participating in the by-election shall be required to comply with guidelines issued by the Electoral Commission in accordance with the Government of Uganda and Ministry of Health measures against the spread of COVID-19, which include social distancing, washing of hands, and wearing face masks.
Welcome back. We now take you to the world of sports. Now, Government of Uganda has been hailed for its insistence on sports, especially through public-private partnerships. Our sports reporter John Barnes Sentamu gives us more on this context.
Visiting Federation of East African University Sports Association official Kenyan Boniface Salano has hailed the Uganda government for its investment in sport.
I would really like to praise the government of Uganda for coming in for Ndeje, because the youth are not people to be given money. What the youth like is supporting what they believe in. And when you support what the youth believe in, they will believe in you as a government. So I think the government has done a very good job to come in and support this particular project that is having, that of hosting the Federation of East African University Games, because then the young ones will be able to enjoy and they're able to relate with the government in terms of how they've sponsored it and they made the games better.
Selano is in Uganda to tour facilities at Ndeje University that hosts the 2022 East Africa University Games in December.
If the games are to take place today, I know they will be able to host. You know, they will be able to host. They've done a good job, and what they're really pushing forward is just to make sure that we have extras that will make students and make the games a better product for East Africa.
More than 100 universities will take part in the games in more than 25 disciplines.
This particular edition is very special in the sense that it is a post-COVID event, and the students are yearning for some activity. That is number one. Number two, it is an event that comes at a time when we are almost experiencing the peak of the East African regional integration, and the theme for the games runs in that direction.
The week-long university games are start on 16th December 2022.
Well, thank you for being a lovely audience, and that brings us to the end of our 8 o'clock edition. However, stay tuned for more news in our 10 o'clock edition. My name is WADULO Mark Arnold Mugano Mohammed on sign language. See you at 10.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial star 149 star 10 hash to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial star 149 star 10 star 5 hash. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial star 149 star 10 hash to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Are you a player in the tourism sector with a struggling business following the COVID pandemic? UDB, in partnership with European Union, is providing financial assistance to businesses operating in the tourism sector. You can access subsidized loan with grants, loan with a tenor of up to 5 years, free business advisory services, and free environmental impact assessment. Visit www.udbl.co.ug/call for applications to apply. Deadline for submission is 31st October 2022 at 5 p.m. For more information, please call 0414 355 509.
National Council for Higher Education will hold the 4th Annual Higher Education Conference on the 14th and 15th September 2022. The conference theme is Enhancement of Teaching, Learning and Assessment with Ordeal in Higher Education. The guest of honor will be the First Lady and Minister of Education and Sports, Honorable Janet Kataha Museveni. The conference will be held physically at Hotel Africana for only invited guests and open to online participants via Zoom webinar that will be shared under the events section at www.unche.or.ug. The keynote speakers are Ezra Nazim, Senior Fellow of Higher Education Academy UK, Professor Henk Gerald Sol, a Dutch organizational theorist and Emeritus Professor of Business, Engineering and ICT at Groningen University, the Netherlands. The National Council for Higher Education is receiving papers from researchers and scholars for publication in the Uganda Higher Education Review, Journal of National Council for Higher Education. For more details, send inquiries to cmuhumuza@unche.org. info@unche.or.ug or call 0783 040024 or 0704 800926 plus 256 39 32 62 140/4.
Bati tozoka no chonda bakonga tona ginda omukwano gususeko baby yo amanya ne dobozi bitwa Dr. Choseka bile sana sapsala simba takoka tageja meji Uganda UBC West abantu bembarara music time you don't know twisanga yuko university in
all in one. The biggest party of 2022 is here. UBC West MP Kahona launches its Mbarara station on Goat Road in Mbarara City with your favorite entertainer, HT Murecha UBC West on 23rd July 2022 at Mbarara University Inn. People of Ankole, Chisoro, Tigezi, Toro, Bunyoro, Rwenzori and all parts of Uganda. Do not miss your cocktail of fun with UBC West presenters, listeners and supporters. Come, be part of the 2022 biggest party in the land. With top artists, comedians, cultural dancers and ODs, women cyclists in the cycling competition, sports activities and many more from Western and Central Uganda at only 10,000 shillings. Don't miss the annual crowd puller of UBC West MP Kahona, and that is Etitimbure Reikuga. Proudly powered by Pepsi Cola, Delight Solar and UBC.
For sponsorship and partnership, call 0700-236-415 or 0782-265-827. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Yes, a very good evening to you tuned into UBC TV. We thank you so much for following our programs and welcome to this week's edition of UBC One-on-One with Michael Jordan Lukomwa. We discuss a number of issues, political, business, social, economic, all of them, but the target is one, that you pick a point at the end of the day. You who watches, you get informed about what happens in your country, in your village, and the world at large. That is why we exist as the national broadcaster, and that is what we exactly do. Now, it is not only this year, but for some long period of time. If it's not teachers on strike because of payment, it is the lecturers. The other day will be nurses, on Monday will be doctors. What exactly is the problem and how can it be solved? That is what we are going to look at this evening. My guest has served as State Minister for Education sometime, and I think
energy
for energy as well. Works. So he has the information about these civil servants, and he's also a senior leader in this country. We know him. He's not a new face. You're going to see him. So he's no longer in government, neither is he a civil servant. So he can give us an objective kind of view that we can also look into and get answers to different questions about this topic. Join me, welcome Captain Francis Babu on this show. Captain, we are so glad to be here with you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for hosting us here.
And good evening. This is where I live. It's a small hut, but it's quite okay.
Not everybody allows people to come to their hut.
No.
So thank you so much.
I have nothing to hide, really. I'd like to thank you for coming. I'd like to thank you for having me.
Yes.
And of course, I would like to thank UBC for a good job you're doing.
Thank you so much.
You know, I support UBC because it's a national TV.
Thank you so much, Honorable.
A lot of people have never realized it, but we should all support it.
Thank you so much, Honorable. Now, what do you make of the rampant strikes? As the universities are opening, if it's not the lecturers, it will be the support staff.
Yes.
If it's not the university, at least we can't close a year without the teachers going on strike.
Yes.
If it's not the teachers, then it's the doctors.
Yes.
What do you think is the problem within our civil servant sector, in our civil service sector in Uganda?
Why don't we put it this way? We'd like to thank all Ugandan workers, including the civil servants, including the people working in the private sector, for having been so resilient to work in this environment and for having been patient, because a lot of things have gone wrong. But what you're talking about are symptoms of our economy.
Okay.
Symptoms of an economy, not only is it local, but we also have the international economy now because of two major things that have happened. One, the pandemic created a lot of problems. Number two, the war in Russia, between Ukraine and Russia. But it's not between Ukraine and Russia, it is between Russia and NATO. NATO are all the Western countries which are fighting Russia. Russia is saying you're overdoing it, you are playing around in our country. So there are many things. Now, why that problem? Problem is very simple. Russia was number 3 in the world in producing oil. And therefore, the sanction they have put on Russia has affected the price of oil. We're talking about $120,000, $130 a barrel, because oil is measured in barrels, as opposed from 90, 80 to that level. That has brought the price of oil up. Ukraine, probably the biggest producer of wheat in the whole world. So food to certain countries. In fact, the whole of Mediterranean, most of they are bread eaters. Most of their wheat comes from Ukraine. India and many others are having problem with wheat. But they have now agreed to buy that wheat, regardless of the sanction. Because Russia has also got wheat. If you remember in our geography, we did the steppes and whatnot. In Russia, they actually produce wheat. So by looking at all these affected the world economy extensively. To an extent,
Captain, this is a war that broke up a few months ago.
No. But we go back. We go back to a pandemic. Then we come to this war. Then we shall come to our local problems. So I started internationally.
You are giving me an international picture. As we move to home.
As we talk right now, the inflation in some of. I was listening to the British people talking. The inflation is at 11%. You're talking about America, it's approaching 10%.
Yes.
You're approaching Europe, it's virtually around those figures, 8, 9, 10. And inflation is a very interesting thing because it eats into the money you have. Now, all the central banks and all the economists in the world, they thought by increasing the interest rates of people who are borrowing money, it will dump the inflation. It has not. Now, what is interesting, while these countries that talk a lot of having problem with inflation, Russia is not. Their money is becoming stronger, their inflation is coming down. So one has now to start saying, these economists, what is it that makes Russia, be all right?
Have their money gain
so much?
As other people have a problem with the currency.
They have even reached a point now. They are telling countries like India and all those who are buying their oil, you buy the oil in your currency. So India will put their currency into the bank and buy oil, and Russia will buy things from India, and they will find a way how to balance the equation. China and India are buying their oil at a reduced price, about 30%. Now, these are extremely important. You must get the world economy. Now, some countries have gone under. A country like Sri Lanka right now is very unfortunate. Yes, I know, it sounds funny, but unfortunately it is a very dangerous situation. It is happening in Africa, and they have already talked about some countries that have a problem. They have debts which have reached 70% of their GDP. They have countries in West Africa. Ghana is one of those countries that have been named. Kenya has been named. Other countries have been named. Now, these countries are having problem with their economy to an extent that one of them has got 100% GDP debt, 100%. Luckily for us, we are at around 50, 51, 52, maybe 53. Our friends in Tanzania are the lowest. Here in East Africa, they are at 36. Now, this gives you a picture that the economy all over the world is not good.
Yes.
And that obviously trickles down to us.
To affect everything.
As Ugandans. Now, after we've reached there, we come to Uganda. Let's take a SWOT analysis. Where is our strength? Where is our weakness? Where is the opportunity, and what is the threat? If you look at the strength we have, is production. What are we producing? What are we selling to bring in money? Now, that is extremely important. What is our weakness? Our weakness is having priorities wrongly, not balancing them so that we live within our means. I think the British have a saying that cut the cloth to your size.
According to your size.
Now, are we cutting the cloth to our size? I think these are extremely important things, and we should not blame anybody. Blaming is to me is weakness. You should find the problems and find the solution. Now,
what if there is somebody supposed to?
We will tell him. For example, if you said something wrong, I would give you the right answer, not to blame you. You might be saying it because you actually believe it. You might be saying it because you think.
I don't know the truth.
No, because you think that's the best way to go. And I'm going to show you how it is.
Okay.
We have an economy. Right now we have 45 billion. That is our total amount of money. All right? We have got a budget of 48 trillion. The total amount of money we have, 23 trillion.
Trillion, yes.
Now, 23 trillion, we remove what we pay for debt. I'm told it's about 17 trillion. So you remain with about 8 trillion. That's the money we have, in where we have to get salaries, we have to get running of the government, what we call administrative costs, and so on and so forth. The question is that money enough? We also have a priority. We believe that making infrastructure, bridges, electricity, and whatnot is extremely important. So that is our list.
Prioritization.
Yes. Then we take security, which is very important. I agree entirely. How much we spend on that, we have to think about it. Then we have infrastructure. Why infrastructure? Because we think infrastructure will create an atmosphere for people to come and invest in this country. And by investing in this country, this government can make more money and in taxes, and therefore be able to pay salaries.
Yes.
So basically, we are taking an opportunity cost for the human resource to get a slightly lower salary so that we can achieve so that is one way of looking at it. You could be wrong. We are not balancing it. We are overemphasizing
the infrastructure
development than salaries. And this has been over the years. Now, theoretically, it looks neat that if these things are working, investors will come. There's no proof that when you do that, they actually come.
Ideally, if we balanced,
yes,
would things be better?
Yes, because we will be able to fight the inflation. You see, the salary of the teachers did not start today. The salaries of the lecturers did not start today. The medical workers, it's been going on for some time. But you just imagine, if we had managed to control it slowly, by reducing it slowly, so that we are moving in tandem with this inflation, then the salaries would be enough to make somebody live. But we are not even talking about a market wage. We are talking about a living wage.
Survival.
Survival.
Wouldn't we have to forego some of the things that we look at as important?
Yes. I'm coming to that.
Okay.
I was coming to that.
I want you to mention those things you think we can forego
to
save money for the doctor and the teacher.
I was giving you the picture first.
Okay.
And then I'll tell you where the problems are. First of all, after explaining that to you, that don't blame anybody. There are people, there are different schools of thought. Let's develop the country. Let's do the infrastructure. Let's bring in these foreigners. Let's start Uganda Airlines. These are good, they're all good projects. By the way, Uganda, and I want to tell you this, we've got the best minds, and the things they're talking about are all good.
What goes wrong?
What goes wrong is this. First of all, Baganda have a saying, omumpi wakoma wakwata. The question is, how far can we stretch?
In terms of our dreams.
Yes, in terms of our dreams. Now, after seeing that, we now go to our people. First of all, our government administrative costs are very high, starting with President's office. Those advisors, all of them, as far as I'm concerned, the President should have only strategic advisors. Strategic means people who are strategically in the economy, people who are strategically political, who are going to give security strategy. In most countries, there are about 2 or 3 or 4, no more. So those ones must go, starting from the State House. And the staff of State House, how many do we need? That one you go down and you look at it. I'm not going to say they are not important. They are all important. The question is, how many can we afford? How many of those can we afford? All those people are very important. They are very nice. The question is, can we afford them?
Is it a number that we can afford?
Yeah.
That's your question.
That's my question. Then we go down. We come to the civil service. The operational costs, vehicles, fuel, seminars, whatnot. How much of that can we reduce so that we live within our means? Then we go further and say, Parliament. Really, our Parliament. 500 people. We can't afford it. Members of Parliament, member of Uganda, should 150 people to 200 are enough.
Captain, something small.
Yeah.
How do we generate these numbers before we even go to Parliament?
Yeah.
You have mentioned State House and Office of the President. How do we generate these numbers?
To me, it looks like it's an excitement of understanding. For example, by having more numbers, you create jobs.
Okay.
Number one. Number two, you get more support because you have more people. And number three, you build leadership. Because by doing so, people get built. Number five, the people where these people come, they also feel they are being included.
They see their reflections within the government.
Within the government. So there are many reasons why you want to expand the Parliament. To me, that is not the reason. The reason is very simple. Can we afford it? That's number one. Number two, when you have 150 people talking, really, is that not enough? Because even now, with 500 members of Parliament, how many people talk in Parliament?
Not even half.
No, not even 50. How many people in the committees talk?
So you have been in that Parliament.
I have been in Parliament. Yes. I'm saying 150 to 200 people is enough.
How can we reduce Parliament?
By the Ugandans agreeing, including members of Parliament, including the President, that our limit should not go beyond 200. We have, you said 47 million, let's say 50 million people. 250,000 per member of Parliament. Yes. 250 people. 250,000 people represented by one member of Parliament.
There's a professor who told me we can have a man and a woman per district.
That's 120, isn't it? We have 120 districts?
Yes, that's 240.
Yeah. But even that one we can reduce. Some districts are too small. Me, I would go by numbers. I would say 250,000 people, one person representing it. So we would have something like 200 or between 150 and 200 people.
Okay.
Now,
we are spending too much money.
Administrative costs, they are called. Administering this country is costing us. Can we reduce it so that it fits us? The people who want them to have these jobs, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with all those people who are in these jobs. The problem is we can't afford them. And the human capital is demanding that you look after them. I am working as a teacher. I am working as a medical officer. I'm working as an agriculture officer. Hey, please pay me so that I can take my children to school.
Just like you do.
Like you do. That's all. I'm not saying you give me more. Okay, give me a living wage. So that what is a living wage of a person? That's all. I'm not asking for anything more. But you're not going to give me a market wage because you don't have it. A market wage would mean we look at the whole area and say, what is a market wage for this kind of officer? Now, many years ago, at one time, those people in government used to get 800,000 shillings when the economy was in tandem. But over the years, the inflation has eaten it away. You cannot give anybody 850,000 permanent secretary and you think he will leave. And then you give him a car.
There's a time when a PS would earn 850,000.
Oh yes. In the beginning there, it was that low.
Honorable, you were in the Ministry of Education.
Yes.
At least the direct public servants, teachers, soldiers, doctors, nurses. At least you have ever supervised the group.
That's called the social service.
The social service. You have ever supervised the group. How did you used to handle these people? And the time you were minister, I think I was in primary school.
Yeah.
That's when I remember having heard the name Vibrant.
Yes.
How did you used to handle these people that we used not to miss classes because the teachers were striking?
First of all,
did you have more money than now?
No, the salary then was virtually in tandem with the economy. It was not enough, but the economy was at such a level that one could live within that salary.
Okay.
That time. Let us be fair. Secondly, there was a spirit of all Ugandans to try and work so that we could build our nation. Some people would say, I'm on a call, I'm a doctor, I'm a lecturer, this salary is low, but I'm going to teach.
Let me take the commitment.
Yeah, let me take a commitment and let our country come up. So these people have actually, if you like, they have sacrificed to be able to build this country. So when you talk about developing this country, these people should even be given medals. Because at that salary, they have been there all the time teaching in the university. By the way, we have suffered quite a bit. At one time, many years ago in other regime, the lecturers at Makere reached a point of driving taxis, of not having clothes. But now they have come up. We would have wanted them to be even at a market level. A professor in Makere University and a professor in a British university, American university, the professor in Makere University is getting a quarter of what the other person receives. So the market rate for a professor is quite high. But these professors are here. They have sacrificed. They are part of those people with the spirit of developing this country. And therefore they must be respected. Those are the teachers, the medical workers, all the people who are in the social services. And these are extremely important because they work on a human resource. Your human capital requires those to survive. Apart from food, those are next.
Okay.
Yes.
Somebody was telling me that our civil servants get incited when they hear of a Lukomwa who drives a minister and is earning 5 million.
Why no? City council. Why?
Yes.
No, the ones of ministers don't get that money. It is KCCA.
In KCCA.
These are authorities which were set up.
Fine.
Where people are getting a huge sum of money.
Exactly. They hear an MP is getting 200 million just for a car, but again he has some allowances, he has what and what. All he needs is just some little money to survive. That's why they get to drop their tools and stay at home.
There are two things here.
Besides the economy, do you think they have such psychological attachments?
No, there are two things here. We have propagandists who exaggerate these things.
Okay.
Number two, we also have people who use them to brag. The arrogance of some of our people. And number 3, they don't explain these things so that people can understand. Number 4, some of them are unfair. Some of those things you've talked about
are genuinely unfair.
And genuinely unfair. Now, if we go for the Member of Parliament, his salary is not the car. His salary is actually between 1.5 million to 3 million. Salary. The one they tax. Now, when you bring a Member of Parliament from Karamoja, he has to travel. So you give him transport allowance. When he comes here, he has to sleep somewhere. Now, many years ago, when I was in CA, we chose a Fairway Hotel, which was at 80,000 shillings
per night.
For the level of a Member of Parliament and a member of CA. At that time, it was okay. But now, that same hotel, the same room costs 250,000 shillings. So the members of Parliament cannot get that money, but they increase the 80,000, I think it's about 120 or 130. And that, when you compound it in a month, comes up to a few millions. But people are adding it on his salary, which should not be. They compound it all. Now his transport is also compounded. Then he gets 2 transport a month to go to his constituency. Then there's what they call constituency allowance, to go and tell the people what is going on in the country. Now all those put together, they're the ones they give to a Member of Parliament. Unfortunately, nobody wants to explain this. They all seem to be afraid. I'm not afraid of it. I think the Member of Parliament deserves it. Now, a Member of Parliament in some other countries, like United States, like Britain, they get $1 million a year to run their office. Now, ours don't get that. They don't even have assistants. A Member of Parliament is supposed to have assistants to do research for him. Political, economics, and some other member he might want, a personal assistant, including the secretary.
With your suggestion of foregoing some things.
Oh yeah, no, I'm coming to that. I was going to come to that. Now, our Member of Parliament,
yes,
and they have not explained, I don't know why they don't come out and tell you the truth. What they are getting is not even enough. Now, technically, that $1 million I told you includes the car. So, he is supposed to have a car and an office in Kampala here, which is given to him at the Parliament. He's supposed to have an office in his constituency. Wherever, well, no, I'm not going.
I've just used the term village.
Yeah. So, a Member of Parliament is supposed to have those to be able to do that job. However, we have destroyed it by having too many people in Parliament. Had we had a few people, that problem would not be there.
So, what vulgarizes their payment or their emoluments is the big number.
That's right. And not only that, is that even the little they are getting, they don't explain it. And this 200 million to me is wrong. They should say they are going to get this car. In most countries, they give them a car, not money.
Okay.
All right? They say, okay, everybody will have a wish, or everybody will have a Toyota, whatever it is. Yeah. So, really, this is where the problem is. We are not being very sincere about it. And that is brought to me by mismanagement. There are people who do it purposely to destroy the members of Parliament.
Okay.
Yeah? They are getting 200 million. They are getting, you see, that is meant to make them look very bad. They are not the ones. It is the people who do not explain what a Member of Parliament should be. Now, all members of Parliament are not good either. Some of them brag about it. I'm entitled to it. I am this. So that annoys people. Now, the propagandists who are against the government, they use it to make the government say they are spendthrift. They just spend money. But that is not the case. The case is, in my opinion, that can be reduced if members of Parliament were not more than 150, 200 people.
They would be paid better, and every Ugandan receives what they deserve.
And then they would be proud that they are members of Parliament, and they'll be able to do their job correctly without hiding.
Look at this scenario. I was talking to the Minister for Development, State Minister for Economic Planning and Development,
yes,
the Honorable Ugolobi.
Yes.
And he told me, actually, we cannot hire all the teachers in Uganda. Neither can we hire all the doctors in Uganda. We don't have a resource envelope that can do that.
He was telling you the truth.
Yes.
If right from the time I was in the ministry, we could not, all those teachers, we trained them as government.
Yes.
In our TTCs. But we cannot employ all of them because we don't have the money to pay them. So there is an envelope. There's a top-up. They stop there. And they can only have so few. Just the other day, you had the minister saying, well, there are 30,000 teachers running around. We're going to employ all of them. Now, that tells you they're not enough, and most of them are in the private sector. And the private sector is not very well financed, because you want them to limit school fees. There are all sorts of things that come into play.
Now, I was talking to a professor I told you about.
Yes.
He told me what other countries do. They give a reasonable salary.
Yes.
Which they can afford all the time. But they make sure there is accommodation for the teacher.
Yes.
Somebody is sent to Gulu or wherever, it's far, but he's assured of a good house. He's assured of some allowance for food or some food that comes. This person is assured of health insurance, things like that. So people will ask for too much money because they have to cover all these costs themselves from the salary. Can we go that direction as Uganda?
You see, there's nothing new on what the professor said. When my children were going to Namagunga, Mount St. Mary's, there was a sister, a European sister, Sister Kefas. And she would have school fees and would pay PTA. She has got houses for teachers. And every month she would give, out of the PTA money, she would give ration food to the teachers.
Okay.
She would also give them medical treatment.
Can't we go?
I'm coming. Now, somebody says, we don't want PTA. We don't want this. School fees is too high. No, calm down. First of all, government should not finance boarding.
What do you mean by that, and why?
Government's way is to finance education. As long as you go to school, we pay your school fees for the tuition for education. Those who want their children to stay in boarding school should be able to pay for the boarding, not the government.
Meet all the costs to do with their child staying in school.
Tuition, they call it tuition. To study,
yes,
to be taught,
but
books and whatnot.
Yes,
but if you want them to live in the school, you should pay.
Food.
Those should be yours. We should now, as parents, we should divide that. If you go to these international schools in Kenya, they are paying $4,000 a term. Now that gives you a picture of how it is to run a school. So our boarding, we could now say, first of all, we should help the school to have houses for teachers.
Yes.
That one government should do. Number two, we should be able to give the teachers the resources, the teaching materials, the right laboratories. We should give them libraries. Those should be done by government. Now, if you want that school to be a boarding school, the government keep away from the boarding school and let the parents run the boarding. Those who want boarding schools. And the reason why this is so, when it is not the government that built boarding schools, by the way. It was the missionaries. Government has never built schools of that nature. Those were built by missionaries.
Okay.
If you look at all our top schools, apart from very few, the rest were built by...
Their history is missionaries.
And they did that because our children could not have enough facilities at home to go to school. So they put their boarding and made the children stay there, and the children used to maintain the school and work in the school and work on the farm, and they had food and everything. Are you with me?
Yes.
Now we must look at the history of these things. Can we divide this? If I want my son or my daughter to go to that school, let the government tell us which part they're paying, and for us we'll subsidize, we'll work on the boarding. In doing so, we will be able to give teachers some little incentive also to teach our children. And that's what Sister Kefas used to do. And that's what most of those people did. Namasagari had the same thing.
We have programs that don't allow that. In their design, there is nothing like that.
No, there is. The school fees should not only be paying teachers' salaries. Now, I also believe that we now have two sections. We have private schools and we have government schools.
Yes.
Private schools under the ministry should have a regulator, somebody who regulates private schools, and help
watch their operations.
Watch their operation and help them, because we want the same standard, whether private or government. All the schools that government claims are their government schools, they were all private schools started by missionaries. So if most of our schools were private, then government should come in, for example, to aid them. You can say, we'll pay the salary of the teachers. Since those teachers anyway, we are the one who trained them, we will pay them salaries. That will reduce the school fees of the parent. But if the parent has to pay a private school with its boarding, with its tuition, the school fees will be unbelievable.
With the economy, like you looked at it in a very right manner.
Yes.
If we take the direction of giving some incentives, we may keep the salaries a little low. But if we give them 3 million now, the dynamics may take it to 5 million next year, or even some 5 years to come. Won't we reach a time when we cannot totally handle as a country?
No. This country is working very hard to expand, to increase the production. By increasing the production, we are able to fight inflation. If we are able to fight inflation, we can maintain a status quo, that the inflation is not increasing to eat away the salaries. Right? So the job of the government, and that's where the weaknesses are, is we must make sure that we exploit every available avenue to produce so that we have enough money. We can produce, as I told you, by using commercial farmers, commercial farming, industrial farming, by using service industries, by all those. We should work on them so that they increase and they bring in more money, and therefore we're able to maintain, to control inflation.
Okay.
And we must also control our debt. Now, the good thing about this country, if you don't import so much things that are not important and reduce your importation, and you produce most of the things that you import, you can also improve your inflationary problems. So we have the opportunity, in other words. We have the opportunity to go on the production side and be able to contain our economy.
How can government relate with civil servants? In case of any problems on any side?
By being very clear and giving them the true facts and telling them what we can do and what we cannot do. And asking the civil servants to try and work very hard to improve by encouraging others for production. For example, the civil servants should try to improve businesses so businesses can do better and we can make more, get more taxes out of businesses. We should go to the informal sector and bring it into the formal sector so that we can get more taxes. We should also go for example, like oil now. I would not wait for the pipeline. They should exploit the oil now. Whatever the cost might be, whatever we get out of it, what we get out of it, we should use it not to borrow money, but to do the pipeline with our own resources.
Okay.
Will be our own money from the oil that will go into doing our
own investment.
Our own investment.
Yes.
Now, by reducing the debt, that can help us. And we should talk to our partners abroad by telling them, look, we have put in a lot of effort. What can you do about the debt? They can forgive us that debt, but then we don't borrow anymore. That should be the condition. Are you with me?
Very well.
And then we exploit. For example, we have marble in Karamoja. How can we exploit that marble within our limits? Can we invest in it so that the marble can start going and we start make money? Can we make that marble, people come and buy it as a finished product? They talked about gold. If we have that gold, can we now, those Chinese people have been given, can they work with Ugandans so that some of that gold can stay here? They can take some of it and some of it stays in our central bank. United States over the years has collected gold from over South America and all over the world and kept it in Fort Knox. That dollar they have at one time was tied on that gold. If we have gold in our central bank, our money will become stronger, we'll control the inflation, we'll be able to go ahead if we actually have that goal.
Have money to pay these people and stop the conflicts.
And we should start investing our own money. And not investors from other countries will not make this country grow. It is Ugandan investors who we must make to come on the mainstream and work with foreigners. The Dubai people, you cannot invest there unless if you work with the local people.
I asked you about how you used to handle teachers during your days in the ministry.
We used to talk to them.
Today, you'll find that government, even with them complaining and striking, government pays a little better than the biggest number of private schools.
Yes.
But the performance within government-managed schools cannot be compared to the performance in most of the private schools. What goes wrong?
Go slow, not being happy. People are not really happy. They see all those things, the propaganda which is going on. Our media is not also helping. But the teachers are really, they need...
Actually, not only teachers.
I'm talking about all the workers. You need to talk to these workers and tell them what the true facts are. And tell them that these unfortunate things that are happening, like the one you talked about city council, like members of parliament, you should explain it to them so that they can understand it. You should explain it to them that the reason we are doing this is because we want to achieve this. For example, the reason why we started agencies and we started commissions and authorities, because the civil service by law could not pay even engineers to work for them, could not pay for experts. So when we started UNRWA, for example, the road thing, we wanted to have all the experts in UNRWA so that we could make better roads. We could not get engineers in the ministry because the salary was so low. And the other thing, they did not feel free to work because there are certain regulations which could not.
So what was cheaper? Starting an authority or boosting the payment standards within the ministry?
Now, if you did one ministry, you'd have to do all the ministries.
Isn't that cheaper than starting authorities?
No. The authorities
now look expensive. Actually, the other day, they were reabsorbing them under the ministries because they have become...
No, they are being misused. Not that they become wrong. People were misusing them. But if you did it correctly, and the agencies did their work very well, without going into all these funny things that happen, which I'm going to talk about, then you would not have that problem. Now, I'll show you where the problem is. The problem is not with agencies. The problem is not with the ministries. The problem is with mismanagement. The problem is with corruption. The problem is with not telling the truth. And the problem is with people who are out there just to destroy the people who are in government.
Where are those people? If you
mentioned
four things.
Let's
start with those that are destroying.
The people who are running the propaganda against government. And I'll show you the propaganda I'm talking about. Now, the mismanagement comes about with I don't care attitude. I'll give you one case in point. Where money has been allotted to do certain things, the year gets finished and the money has not been used, it has to be taken back to the ministry. To me, that's mismanagement. The approval to approve a certain project takes as long as it can, that's mismanagement. Then the infighting within those organizations, that's mismanagement. Some people getting out of those organizations, goes to IGG to tell lies about people in the same organization, that's mismanagement. You get somebody going to the newspapers, giving them false information, and then you get this new group we have now on social media that enjoys in telling what is not there. Now, those are all mismanagement. You mismanagement the country, that's what happens. And you don't explain, that's mismanagement.
Who is to blame for the mismanagement?
The people within whatever.
Because at the end of the day, in every entity, there are people at the helm. All of that all is well.
Let's be fair.
Who has to sort that?
It is all of them. There's no one particular person. All of them. If you start by saying the president has a cabinet.
Yes.
So the whole cabinet. The president has a cabinet of 80. No, the cabinet is 40 something. The rest is ministers of state. But when all of them are together, they are over 82, is it?
Yes.
Now, those are supposed to, when you swear as a minister, you're supposed to advise the president. That's number one. So that's a team, the whole cabinet. That's what we call government. Then you go down. You have permanent secretaries who are managers of the state.
Those are the ones probably we should look at, because if there is
the leaders,
management and they are at the helm of the system.
No, those ones we started with are the leaders. You see, there are two different things, and that's where people have never got it right. There is a leader, is the minister. There is a manager, is the permanent secretary. The leader comes with their priority. For example, once a government is in, they have got a manifesto of things they want to do.
So the minister comes to ensure that one is achieved.
Yes, the minister, let's say take a Minister of Health, this is what we're supposed to do. Minister of Works, this is what we're supposed to do. Now after doing it, the permanent secretary comes with a program. This is what you brought us, this is what we're going to do. Gives you the timelines, tells you how much money it's going to require, and they put in the budget, and they go to the budget, the Minister of Finance, they sit down, they say this is what a ministry wants to be able to achieve this. This is what we're going to do this year. This is what we're going to do next year. They give them a short term, medium, and long term. Now, once they have done that, then the Minister of Finance says, you know, you asked for 1 trillion, but we can only give you 800 this year. We can give you more next year. Now, the minister will only do it in the resource envelope they have. And by the way, some of those projects are not a 1 year project. They go over a period of time. So when they give you money for this year, you should be able to get one for next year and the other year. Now, a lot of people don't talk about this. They think that everything must be done in 1 year. No, some projects are ongoing. That is why your budget is 48 trillion. They are ongoing projects which they have already given money, which will give them some little money to continue. But people don't see this.
You talked about corruption as well.
I'm coming to that. Now, after we've done all that, the project has been brought, and they've got now the corruption comes in procurement of people from outside. For example, if you want to make a road, somebody has to procure. You get people applying to do that road. During that procurement, and I'll give you an example. When I was in one of the ministries, we wanted to start the boat to Karangara to be built here, and we had the different people put in the applications, and I was in one of the committees and said, have you done the due diligence on all these people? They said yes. So we said, okay. One of them was from London, so we called the ambassador in London and said, well, do you know about this company? They said, no, we don't know about it, but we can give you an answer within 1 hour. They went to the address which was given, and there was no such company. Corruption starts there. Corruption started in procuring government services. Now, the people who are involved, they become agents. The people on the procurement committees. Each ministry has a procurement committee.
Yes.
Then we have the big group, that supervises them. Unfortunately, that's where most of these things are. And then
the dirt that we call corruption.
Corruption.
Can we ever wake up one morning and we don't have?
Oh yes, we can. Ugandans can do this. Every Ugandan, and I'm looking in the camera, can say corruption must stop. Every Ugandan must have this country as a patriot to say, no, this money is building the future for my children. My children and my grandchildren. If I make sure that what we are doing is successful, my children would enjoy it. If we made it even better, our grandchildren would enjoy it. So it is us. And we should not say only people in government, not only people in the opposition are the ones who are shouting. No. All Ugandans must do the right thing to make these things work.
I cannot leave this home without talking about politics.
Yes.
Are you still a senior leader in the NRM?
No, I am not in any of their organs, but I am a member of
NRM. Or you are?
No, their organs means the organs of
the party.
Of the party. I'm
but
not.
Being a member, you would say our.
No, it is our. It's our party. Yeah, I'm a member of NRM, and I don't change horses in between like other people. I think we can correct what's wrong in NRM. There is a lot of mistakes which can be corrected.
Can you point out some?
Oh yeah. NRM over a period of time collected a lot of debris and brought them into the system. For example, people who had come from different parties, people who had come from pressure groups, You remember we had something called PAFO, we had something called YPA, we have Reform Agenda. Some of those people went in other parties, others came in NRM. And they came with a different agenda. Their agenda was to do things in a certain way. There was a lot of conflict in there. Some of them came to make sure the people they found there were removed out and they got in. And as you can see now, the people who are in NRM, actually, some of them came from opposition. Parliament is led by people who came from the opposition. They are members of NRM now.
Are you happy or not?
No, I'm happy. I'm happy. If they are going to work with the spirit of NRM, I have no problem with it. The spirit of NRM is to make this country a good country. Is to develop this country to a level that your children and my children and your grandchildren can have a good country. We must move. We must get away from our differences. We must unite this country. This country is not united. I was very happy the other day when the cabinet said Swahili becomes the next language and it must start to be taught in every country, in every class. Therefore, some of us, this is what we want. The language will be a bond. It will bring about a bond.
So you see that gap in your party?
Yeah, but there's another thing that I want. Yeah, I see that gap.
What else? You said there's some other
the other gap is the commercialization of politics. Some people have got money and they are using it against each other. Then there is also propaganda, spoiling other people. I think this should stop. We should have harmony within the party. We should work together.
Okay.
And we should have what we started with was very ideal. Unfortunately, the ideal has been left and people have moved with the wind here and there, but they are now realizing they have to cut. The opportunity we have is that we can correct our mistakes.
Let me do some Lugambo.
Yes.
Some NRM people look at you as somebody who is not very happy with the party these days.
No. I'm not happy with certain people, not party.
Okay.
Certain people.
Within the party.
Within the party. I am not against, I like the party because I've never changed.
This is your party.
If I didn't like it, I would have changed. I can even form my own party.
But you're not happy with some people?
So a lot of people who are a lot of people. Some of them are lost. Some of them are lost. And they are lost because they have got methods of work which I don't agree with. We should be honest to each other. We should respect the party. And we've got a constitution. We've got our aim. And some of them are good. But we should not make the party look like it is for certain people and other people are not members of that party.
Have you talked to these people?
Yes.
About what you don't
I even told them. One of my problems is that I tell them.
Okay.
Yes, I tell them. I tell them what you're doing is not right. It's wrong.
Actually, I'm getting to understand, and I've followed you for some time.
Yes.
You stand and say what you think.
That's right.
Isn't this one thing that will give you problems with?
No, why should it give a problem?
Because I've seen in politics, actually, most of the people that have gotten issues within their parties, be it DP or wherever, are those people who stand and say, Mr. So-and-so, ABCD is not right.
No, not even him.
And you're playing the card wrongly.
Maybe that gentleman or lady, whatever they are thinking, that's what they feel is correct. But when I look at it, I see it taking our party in the wrong direction. Some of the things that have happened, people have combined government with the party.
Okay.
Right? They're in government and they want to talk. We say when you are a minister, you now become minister of Uganda, not of NRM. You, for example, if you are the minister of education, it's the whole education. All the education is for everybody, regardless of their party. If you build a road, it's for everybody. Therefore, you must learn.
That does not give you power to call the Secretary General to order.
No.
In the whims of the party?
No. I can tell the Secretary General what you have said.
No, I mean, because you're a minister,
yes,
you shouldn't think that that gives you power to instruct the Secretary General.
No, the Secretary General is with the people. And therefore, if he collects information, he should be Mr. Minister. We have collected this information. The hospital in such and such a place is not doing very well. That now, as a party, because it's in your manifesto, you must insist on making your manifesto work. See? So these are the only things. I think that's where the problem is. We have misused the use of our party, and we think it's only for elections. I think there is more to it. We should try to understand. By the way, the biggest job for a party is the leadership drive.
Okay.
To look for good leaders.
Not remember it during elections.
No.
But how do you see the political bar currently.
No, all those bad things they're doing are coming back to them. It's a law of karma. You do the wrong things, the
result can't be right.
They can't be right. You see, it begins to impact on you. The party becomes unpopular to an extent that there is a saying that the party belongs to one man, which is not true. You see, people now, they sympathize.
Up next on UBC, brought to you by
Keep the lights on. Use Airtel Money to pay for all your Yaka bills conveniently. Open the My Airtel app to buy Yaka units. Airtel Money. Simple, secure, borderless.
Thank you for watching UBC News Tonight with me, WADULO Mark Arnold. We'll take a look at the headlines before we start off with the main course of the bulletin. In our headlines tonight, ESC heads of state officially launched the 42.4-kilometer ESC board. Justice Minister designates Norbert Mao vetted vows not to resign as DP President. 105 billion shillings credit line to boost micro, small and medium-sized enterprises. Kenyan sport icon Boniface Salano hails Uganda government for investing in sports. Once again, thank you for joining us. We now give you the news in detail. The ESC heads of state have today in Arusha, Tanzania, officially launched the 42.4-kilometer ESC Arusha bypass that is part of the multinational Arusha-Holili-Taveta-Voi road that links northern Tanzania to the Kenyan port city of Mombasa. The Arusha bypass is the first phase of the project that was constructed to decongest traffic in Arusha and Moshi towns in addition to promoting intra-regional trade. The financing for phase 2 has been entered between government of Japan under the Japanese International Cooperation Agency and the United Republic of Tanzania with a financing agreement of 24.31 million yen, which is equivalent to 413.858 Tanzanian billion. Outgoing ESC chairperson Uhuru Kenyatta and his host Tanzanian President Samia Suluhu Hassan launched the road, accompanied by President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni and President Evariste Ndayishimiye. President Hassan Sheikh Mohammed of the Federal Republic of Somalia was also at the event as a guest of the summit. Furthermore, the First Lady and Minister for Education and Sports, Janet Kataha Museveni, has revealed plans to introduce what has been codenamed True Love Waits cards in school, with the aim of helping avoid premarital sex. While addressing students of Mengo Senior Secondary School during a youth summit aimed at imparting students with life skills and how to keep pure, Mrs. Museveni encouraged young people to learn to write down ideas and what they purpose to be. Furthermore, the Prime Minister of the Republic of Uganda, Robina Nabanja, has rallied the people of Soroti City behind supporting National Resistance Movement candidate Herbert Ariko. Nabanja, who pledged government support towards renovation of markets and rehabilitation of roads, encourages locals to embrace NRM for more developments. She said this as she rallied the people to vote wisely in the upcoming Soroti East by-elections.
Prime Minister Robina Nabanja's first stop was at the residence of NRM National Vice Chairperson for Eastern Uganda, Captain Mike Mukula. Bulldozer. She was here to meet NRM flag bearers, both winners and losers in the previous elections. She urged them to vote the NRM candidate Herbert Ariko in the upcoming by-elections.
Let us not look at him as Ariko. We are looking at him as NRM. NRM is bigger than all of us. Have you ever seen a Prime Minister coming here to campaign? No. Why have I come? Are you the ones who invited me? No. I am here because of the other spirit of NRM. It is a taboo for you to have our flag and people see you moving up and down looking for a vote of another candidate.
It is this similar message that they carried to the field as they canvassed for votes. Mike Mukula stormed Soroti Center seeking support for Herbert Ariko.
Kitu ambayo tunataka hapa jua kali ni maendeleo. Au namna gani? Kweta kabuli mutye nanga linaka ntukadeyo nako akavera.
On the other side of Morwapesuru in Kengere Ward, Nabanja was seen doing what she does best. Her message to the people was simple: vote Herbert Ariko.
On Thursday, next week, on 28th, wake up very early in the morning and go to vote. When you are given this ballot paper, just look at number 2 and look for a bus and put there. Don't make a very big mark. Just
Nabanja looked at the need for Soroti City to have more development in both social and economic infrastructure.
Akaluke mukuba kansonga. Twagala nkulakulana. Are we together? Twagala malwaliro. Ekyokubiri twagala enguudo ennungi. Twagala masomero. Ate amasomero ani agalina? Ani agalina?
Despite being independent but FDC leaning, Soroti West Constituency Member of Parliament Jonathan Ebwalu reaffirmed his support for NRM's Herbert Ariko.
I am an independent member of Parliament leaning on the FDC party, but I am not here to campaign for NRM, no. I am not here to support NRM, no. Neither am I here to cross to NRM. I am here for only Honorable Herbert Edman Ariko.
President Yoweri Museveni, who is also NRM's National Party Chairman, is expected to join the campaigns on Monday, 25th July 2022. Elections are slated for Thursday, 28th July of this same year. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Now, of course, earlier on we mentioned the First Lady and Minister of Education and Sports addressing students of Mengo Senior Secondary School during a youth summit. We have some of the highlights that happened there.
6,000 students at Mengo Senior School have acquired skills about sexuality, living a life of purpose and decision-making during a youth summit spearheaded by the First Lady and Minister for Education and Sports, Janet Kataham Museveni, under the campaign Protect the Girl, Save the Nation. The summit comes at a time when many young people are struggling to keep on track with studies, hence empowering them with life skills to be able to make informed decisions.
And we should not give the devil a chance to disorganize with sexual impurity. But we are going to find out what we're supposed to do. Do the right thing. Do good. Follow the core values that have been instilled in us.
Virginity, I believe you are pure, you are confident, and you respect yourself. You can only attract what you honor. A friend of mine always tells me, if you want to be respected, you have to respect yourself first. You have to respect your body.
The young people have been advised to make right choices that will transform them into responsible citizens. Accordingly, some of the choices that block them from achieving their goals are as a result of disobeying their parents and teachers.
To write down your ideas and what you would want to see happen in your lives as you grow. I urge you to set your life goals now. You may begin by thinking about your future career. Find what you must do, go the right, work hard, be disciplined, so that nothing distracts you from accomplishing your goal.
On sexual discipline, Mrs. Museveni said it is possible to achieve once the young people set a purpose in life. She revealed plans of introducing what she called true love weights cards in schools to avoid premarital sex.
And promise that we are going to stay from premarital sex until marriage. So we are going to bring those cards back. We want you to sign those cards. You keep your card with you in your Bible so that you don't lose it. You give the other card to your parents to keep and continue to remind you. And the third card you hand over to the president.
The UNICEF representative, Dr. Munir Safieldin, said more than 34% of all young people between 18 to 24 years experience multi-dimensional poverty, emphasizing that time is now for leaders to invest in the young people.
You are a unique resource that can develop innovative solutions for peace and development because youth have extremely strong values of tolerance and social cohesion. They aspire to a life of dignity for all. They are committed to peace. They are champions for development and change in communities and societies.
The third Deputy Prime Minister, Rukia Nakadama, said inspiring and empowering youth saves and builds stronger generations. I'm Nafka Farida in Mengo.
Furthermore, Parliament has vetted Norbert Mao, the Minister-designate for Justice and Constitutional Affairs, a day after his appointment by President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. Mao, after facing the Appointments Committee chaired by Speaker of Parliament Anita Among, vowed not to relinquish his position as the President General for the Democratic Party. Also vetted was the woman Member of Parliament for Agago District, Akelo Beatrice, who was appointed Minister of State for Economic Planning under the Office of the President.
The walking style describes his confidence as he arrives at Parliament to face the vetting committee.
When you're a minister, it's your duty to advise.
Norbert Mao, the popular leader of the Democratic Party, appeared before the Appointments Committee to verify his appointment as stipulated by the law of the land.
The transition is continuing. There are some people who will wake up and they'll be talking about the transition and they'll be told that it has been done.
Norbert Mao was appointed Cabinet Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs a day after a cooperation agreement was penned between NRM and DP. As he waits to swear in, Minister-designate Norbert Mao will in good faith promote values as required to achieve social, political and economic success and stability of Uganda.
Have you ever heard the president talk about abolishing bail in the constitution again? I wasn't a minister. I wasn't anybody in the government. Let me tell you, even you, the media, if you give good advice, it will be listened to. So the quality of advice also matters. I can only pledge to give high quality advice.
The debate on the controversial agreement between DP and NRM has taken another twist, as Norbert Mao is not ready to abandon his position as Democratic Party President General.
And I'll continue discharging my duty as the President of the Democratic Party. I've heard voices calling for me to step aside. I think the reason is not the cooperation agreement. The reason would have been, for instance, if members said you will be too busy.
On Thursday, 21st July 2022, a section of members of Parliament subscribing to the Democratic Party stressed that Norbert Mao, who did not share with them the agreement, should resign as the DP president. The legislators described Mao's decision to work with the NRM as a two-faced move.
We are going to elect another president. We are going to, and be it known to Norbert Mao, however hard it is, whether we are going to go through legal processes or anything, we shall invest our all to make sure that we draw a very thick line between the NRM and Democratic Party.
Even when Norbert Mao is sworn in as a minister, if we go for the NRM parliamentary caucus, he will not be attending because he does not belong to the NRM, he belongs to DP.
Also vetted were the recent judicial officers appointed by President Yoweri Museveni and the Minister of State for Economic Monitoring, Akelo Beatrice.
It's our responsibility to show to the budgeting committee how useful the office and the docket is. Because if every time we are in the field monitoring, that requires resources. Definitely they will give us resources when we make the office active.
Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gutabinji, UBC News.
National Resistance Movement NRM members have welcomed the move by the Democratic Party Chairman General Norbert Mao to join hands and work with government. An NRM historical ambassador, Crispas Chiyonga, says that it is not the first time in government of President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni poaching on such intelligent brains. He lashed out at Mao's critics, saying that the agenda of developing the country should not be based on political parties, but on patriotism and common goals.
When news broke from State House in Tebe early this week that President Museveni signs a deal to work with Democratic Party Chairman General Norbert Mao, it appeared strange to a section of Ugandans, and many have criticized the move. But for the NRM historical ambassador Crispas Chiyonga, Museveni working with the DP's Mao is not something strange or new.
I'm saying my brother Mao is coming back to the fold for two reasons. Number one, when we came to power in 1986, the channel was NRM. Young as Mao was, later on he grew up from the university, he was in the fold of the National Resistance Movement. But two, I believe myself that Mao is a patriot, that Mao wishes well for Uganda, wishes well for Africa. And the effort of the NRM and the leadership of President Museveni is to collect all these positive forces together so that we can move at higher speed.
He says Museveni has worked with various people from the days of Bush War to date, especially people who prove to him that they are intelligent and patriotic.
Very many My Mzee, Moses Ali. Moses Ali was not our political thinking. The late Sevana Kisito. You knew Sevana Kisito? Nyanzi, very many, really. Very many people. I used to have a newspaper cutting here of the different leaderships. Our first Minister of Finance, Professor Mulema, Ponciano Mulema, was the Minister of Finance in the NRM government from February 1986 to November 1986 when I took over from him.
Ambassador Chionga says the people should not criticize Mao, but instead focus on common problems affecting Uganda and look at how to resolve them regardless of political differences.
People should be saying, oh, you see what Mao has done? Let more people follow Mao. So that we're all in the NRM. We are together. If you want, we can even change the name if they have a problem with the name. The most important thing is we should be together as Ugandans, be clear about our problems, and define the way forward to develop and transform ourselves. Join like-thinking people in other parts of Africa, and we get our continent out of this shameful status in which we are. Very poor, diseased, low technology.
Such similar views have also been expressed by the NRM Director Communications, Emmanuel Dombo, who welcomed the move by Norbert Mao to work with the NRM government.
Right now, what Honorable Norbert Mao has done is not new. This is exactly what President Museveni did with the Honorable Semogerere, the President General of the Democratic Party then, when he accepted on the minimum program on which to associate and work with government. And Honorable Semogerere successfully worked as a minister in government and also deputy prime minister until such a time that he became tired and he opted out of government. Honorable Norbert Mao is also doing exactly that. And for us in NRM, we welcome him. And the people of Uganda are going to partake of his wisdom and benefit from his knowledge.
Philip Aguta, UBC News in Kasese.
Now, relatedly, leaders of the DP bloc platform on Friday joined members of the DP Parliamentary Forum to denounce recent decision by the party President General Norbert Mao and Party Secretary General Gerald Silanda to sign a memorandum of understanding with the ruling NRM government. During a press briefing at Speak Hotel in Kampala, the DP bloc leaders say that the decision to sign the MOU without consulting them automatically disqualifies them from the top leadership of the party.
Leaders of the Democratic Party DP Bloc Forum have expressed their dissatisfaction regarding the recent decision by the party President General Norbert Mao, together with the party Secretary General Dr. Gerald Silanda, for allegedly signing a memorandum of understanding with NRM without consulting the relevant party structures. In a joint statement read by Acting DP Bloc Chairman Samuel Lubega Mukaku at Speak Hotel in Kampala, the members said that Mao's action wasn't a surprise and was long overdue. However, they cautioned him against transacting any official political business on behalf of the party.
The DP Bloc has taken a non-compromising decision to work closely with organs of the party to effect the due process of relieving Norbert Mao and Silanda of their party positions and President and Secretary General of the Democratic Party, respectively.
We want him to be also civilized, not to cling on to our party. He has deserted us. He has acted like an administrator of the estate who has sold it.
Mukaku says the members have already started to mobilize DP members and well-wishers to work on the party's future. Information, Communication and Technology Minister Chris Baryomunsi has also weighed in on the current happenings in the old political party in Uganda, cautioning DP diehards to go slow on Mao since he has not yet joined the NRM, but still a DP member.
Appointment, the instrument appointing the Honorable Norbert Mao, it clearly states Honorable Norbert Mao will serve as Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs, but Norbert Mao is described as the President General of the Democratic Party.
Following Mr. Mao's memorandum of understanding with the ruling NRM party, the National NRM District Chairperson's coordinator, also Kalungu District NRM Chairman Haji Twaka Chiganda Sonko, together with the Bukoma Nsimbi NRM Chairman Bashir Semakula, have also embarked on wooing the opposition in Greater Masaka to emulate Norbert Mao by working with the NRM to deliver services to their people. The DP bloc is composed of the Social Democratic Party, Truth and Justice Platform, and the People's Progressive Party, PPP. Edward Kolinjuko for UBC in Kampala.
Furthermore, the aggrieved NRM Iyala aspirants have withdrawn an interim order and a temporary injunction application they had filed against the NRM Electoral Commission chairperson, Dr. Tanga Odoi, and the party. Through their lawyer, Robert Rutaro, they now want the main application to be heard expeditiously since the applicants want to participate in the coming Iyala election.
Last week, NRM East African Legislative Assembly Iyala aspirants filed a suit in High Court Civil Division against the NRM Electoral Commission chairperson Dr. Tango Odoi and the NRM party. Among the application filed was the interim order and a temporary injunction asking court to quash the SEC decision of retaining the 6 incumbent in Iyala elections. They also asked court to maintain the status quo of the electoral procedures until the main application is heard. Justice Musa Sekana is presiding over this matter. However, the applicants, Friday morning, decided to withdraw an interim order and a temporary injunction application, now remaining with the main application in court. Robert Rutaro is the lawyer for the applicants.
The NRM elections for flag bearers of Iyala is imminent. So we thought in order to save time, it's better we withdraw. My clients instructed me to withdraw the 2 applications in order to give chance to the main application of judicial review to be heard expeditiously and in a timely manner.
The applicants now want court to review and quash the decision by NRM SEC to reinforce the slots of Iyala to 6 incumbents.
Then we also asked court to summon the Secretary General of the party, Right Honorable Todong Richard. We asked court to summon him as well, to come to court and to cross-examine him, because he's a member of SEC, and he's the one who communicated the decision of SEC. So we wanted him to come to court and give court information on how they arrived at that decision.
The respondents' NRM party and Dr. Tango Odoi are represented by Counsel Samuel Sebofu. The affidavits on court record filed by NRM party lawyer Oscar Kiyika, the applicants would have sought for remedies from the Party Election Disputes Tribunal before coming to court. The NRM's Electoral Commission chairperson Dr. Tango Odoi, in replying to this application, told court that the decision by SEC was in line with the party constitution and structures, which the appellant's lawyer Robert Rutaro objects.
The affidavit of Dr. Tango Odoi and the affidavit of Mr. Oscar Chika, Senior Counsel Oscar Chika, are empty in as far as this case is concerned. They are full of lies, and we are going to file affidavits in rejoinder, and we are going to expose these lies.
Judge Musa Sekana set 25th July 2022 to hear the main application. The 6 NRM's Iyala incumbents endorsed by SEC on 8th July 2022 include Rosa Akulo, Martin Mujenyi, Paul Musamali, Dennis Namala, George Odong and James Kakoza. Deborah Namamonde, UBC News.
The NRM-leaning independents who want to contest in the forthcoming Busongora South parliamentary by-election have set tough conditions to the party if they are to step down for the flag bearer. The independents, who mainly come from the minority tribes in Kasese, demand that they should be given a separate district named Katwe and their members be appointed to various positions in government. They made the remarks during a negation meeting with the NRM Director of Communications, Emmanuel Dombo, in Kasese District.
These are NRM members who had vowed to contest as independent candidates in the forthcoming parliamentary by-elections in Busongora South County in Kasese District. The members, comprising mainly from what they term as 5 minority tribes in Kasese, says they wanted to contest as independents because they are being marginalized by the majority tribe of Bakonjo.
We have the Abasongora, we have Abachingwe, Abagabo, and Abafurichi. These 5 tribes, of course, being the minority in Kasese, we really organized ourselves and we formed up indigenous ethnic minorities in Kasese that we are pursuing to have our own separate district. The reasons are very, very, very clear in white and black.
Because we have been marginalized, I think by the majority or the people who call themselves the own of Kasese, whereby they term the whole land of Kasese as Echitaka Nichetu, Nichavo. That means the land is theirs. We were born here, we have grown up from here, we have studied from here, but we have been thrown down or thrown out. Many issues why we need a district.
If Kasese leadership can allow the creation of cattle district, we believe some of these issues to do with marginalization, issues to do with service delivery will be answered, because we shall have our own service commission and we believe our people will get jobs. We shall have our own planning and decision making.
During a meeting with the NRM Director of Communications, Emmanuel Dombo, in Kasese District, they want a written agreement on a separate district status from Kasese if they are to step down for the flag bearer Gideon Mujungu.
Contesting where I was ready to contest as an independent candidate in Busongora South constituency, but in this meeting that we had, just got out from it, the resolution, the point view out I can get as one is that the chairman of the minority, the elderly Amblera, agreed or made a statement that if we agree with the president, we shall give a room to the NRM flag. And if we don't agree or we disagree, then we shall have to come up with our own powers, because we need a voice. As
a group, if we agree on terms and conditions that we want, first of all, we need a district. We need a voice that will be heard.
The NRM Director Communications urged the members on unity and step down for the flag bearer Gideon Mujungu as government works on their grievances.
We are very grateful to the minority communities for the issues they have raised. We have taken note of them, and as a secretariat, we are going to submit them to the Secretary General for onward transmission to His Excellency the President. Amongst the things they have requested is a meeting to brief the President and also resolve on the issues related to the elections that we are going in.
Kasese District is mainly for the Bakonjo tribe, and the minority tribes mainly came to Kasese as a result of migration. Philip Aguta, UBC News in Kasese.
State Minister for ICT and National Guidance, Joyce Nabosa Sebugwao, has challenged local leaders to preach the gospel of ICT among their communities for faster, transparent and cheap service delivery to Ugandans. Ms. Nabosa was launching the Regional Communication Infrastructure Project targeting Greater Masaka region at an event held in Masaka City.
State Minister for ICT and National Guidance, Joyce Nabosa Sebugwao, has been in Greater Masaka region as part of her tour to assess government work. Her first stopover was at Masaka City, near offices.
And so we have the way there.
While in Masaka City, Minister Nabosa also presided over the launch of the fully fledged NITA Uganda regional offices and ICT command center. The station, which is monitoring and fostering ICT activities across all the 4 districts of Greater Masaka, is supported by a multi-billion solar plant.
And this is the same one which also gets traffic to Mutukula and the farthest border areas around here. But it also boosts the signal to the western region. And as Edie mentioned also, to Mbarara, Bushenyi, Kabale, to even to Rwanda.
This system, we are really privileged and grateful to government for the support and introduction of this system in the criminal management systems. This system has really supported us so much in reducing crimes, especially crimes which are related to technology. So we are able to view, prevent, proactively actually fight crime in line with the other stakeholders. So as I talk now, we have reduced our crime rate in Masaka by about 12%.
We have many government systems. We have seen NIRA, we have heard of USB, police. We are digitizing them within those organizations, but Mama, we want to now integrate them. NIRA can talk to police. If someone is overspeeding, we saw the person overspeeding and want to know, okay, this should maybe.
Later, the minister also witnessed the launch of regional communication infrastructure project in Masaka City.
I was in Rwanda some time back, a year back, but they are well equipped with this system.
In Greater Masaka sub-region, RSIP has connected a total of 60 ministries, departments and agencies, some of which include NIRA, which is used for ID and the birth registration.
The ICT sector has over the years been vibrant and dynamic. It has now turned into an inevitable and tool for socio-economic development.
Local communities of this region are now being challenged to tap into the available opportunities.
All the services that government is putting in place are for the citizens. And then we hear citizens are complaining government doesn't care. Government is doing a lot of work.
Minister Sebugwao reiterated the government's commitment to offer accessible ICT services to all sectors of development, including the oil sector.
Plans are underway between NITA-U and the Petroleum Authority to run an optical fiber along the pipelines which will connect all unserved communities.
With reliable electricity, infrastructure like roads and programs like PGM across the country, and all this being eased by ICT, there is definitely light at the end of the tunnel in as far as prosperity for all is concerned. Robert Onyango, UBC News.
Married people have been encouraged to have a purpose in their marriages since they are the foundation of peace in any society. This was during the first day of the marriage conference that has attracted numerous couples from far and wide, being hosted at Serena Hotel in Kampala.
The institution of marriage is under attack from all corners, but most importantly, the liberal ideology that has permeated ungodly forms of union. To this end, hundreds of couples subscribing to the Christian marriage are attending a marriage conference intended to rebuild broken ones and strengthen those that were at the brink of breaking.
God had to make a parallel version of a man, the same but different, complementary to him. And so marriage was formed in that moment, that a man would leave his father and mother, Genesis says, and so the two would become one flesh.
Justice Mike Chibita, the marriage conference host, equates marriage to a vehicle that, if not maintained, could tear and wear out soonest.
and then you have to go to a garage and they fix it. But some cars actually are taken to the garage when they have engine knocks, and it has to undergo an overhaul. What I'm saying is, we may be at different stages in our marriages. Let's treat this as a garage where we come to interact with some mechanics and other cars, and we compare notes.
The Archbishop of Kampala Diocese, Reverend Paul Semogerere, graced the opening session with a strong call to the marrieds to appreciate one another in the spirit of Jesus' love for the church.
That husbands, love your wives even as Christ loved the church and gave himself for it, dying for the church. That the husbands have more responsibility even of dying for your wife. In all matters, I think we should rectify this today through this message. That these days I'm seeing that the wives are dying for the husbands even more. They pay the school fees, they look for the money, they go to hospitals, they forgive when the husband has an extra affair.
Reverend Stephen Gwokuroja, the guest speaker of the two-day conference, expounds on the consequences of divorce.
And I sometimes use an illustration of two people coming together, two cards like this, a grey one and a pink one, a man and a woman joined together in marriage, and I usually stick it together like this. And it shows that two become one, which is wonderful. But when it's torn apart, like I tore this one apart earlier, you see what happens. Look at the terrible damage to both of them. There's some grey on the pink and some pink on the grey, because what that means is that part of us is left behind when divorce happens. We're less whole, we're broken, and really, look at the brokenness of that paper. Looks horrible, doesn't it? And that's sadly what happens when women and men tragically have to split up. It's painful, it's horrible, God hates it. He really loves those people deeply and doesn't want them to feel the pain of divorce.
The conference that is running under the theme, Submit to One Another Out of Reverence for Christ, is the first of its kind in Uganda. Dorcas Kimono, UBC News.
We'll now take a short commercial break and be back right after these messages.
Ni MTN Kabode Super as you pay mpola for this smartphone. Make calls, update your WhatsApp status, watch YouTube, and Google anything under the sun with 2 GB worth of data every month for 7 months. Simply make a small deposit of 99k and pay the balance mpola. You can pay in daily, weekly, or even monthly installments while you enjoy your new phone. So what are you doing today? Visit any MTN shop near you and get the MTN Kabode Super easy.
Are you a player in the tourism sector with a struggling business following the COVID pandemic? UDB, in partnership with European Union, is providing financial assistance to businesses operating in the tourism sector. You can access subsidized loan with grants, loan with a tenor of up to 5 years, free business advisory services, and free environmental impact assessment. Visit www.udbl.co.ug/call for applications to apply. Deadline for submission is 31st October 2022 at 5 p.m. For more information, please call 0414 355 509.
A World Cup in the desert? The first one in the Middle East. The first to be held at the end of the year? That's crazy. Get ready for spectacular moves, high-flying saves, unbelievable goals, out-of-this-world celebrations.
Would you believe it? What a moment here!
All 64 matches live. That's over 5,000 action-packed minutes of the FIFA 2022 World Cup Qatar. Now that's crazy. Catch all the action only on SuperSport, your world of champions. On Go TV. Love it.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial *149*10# to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial *149*10*5#. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial *149*10# to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. We now take you into other news. The Japanese government has availed $1 million to the government of Uganda through World Food Program to support the people of Karamoja who have been struck by acute food shortage. It is estimated that over 18,000 children and 6,000 expectant and breastfeeding women are in urgent need of rehabilitation due to malnutrition. Let's take a look at the details.
Government and development partners are putting efforts together to ensure that people in Karamoja region are saved from starvation due to acute food shortage that has struck the region. The Japanese government, through the World Food Program, has availed $1 million to aid in the distribution of food relief. It is estimated that over 18,000 children and 6,000 expectant and breastfeeding women are in urgent need of rehabilitation due to malnutrition.
Japan is committed to food security, and Japan also takes part in supporting this humanitarian assistance initiative by contributing $1 million for procurement of emergency food for saving lives of Ugandans, our genuine friends.
The World Food Program is calling on other entities to complement Ugandan government in securing the lives of people in Karamoja.
Even as we respond to the emergency needs in Karamoja, we need to work with government and donors to think of and implement sustainable and inclusive interventions to strengthen food systems so that they work for the most vulnerable. Over the years, it is concerning that we have seen the number of people experiencing high levels of food insecurity in Karamoja grow.
In the same line, government is working on long-term interventions that are directed towards ensuring food security in Karamoja region.
And the discussion is around having more areas go into agriculture production by opening huge expanse of land and irrigation, so that with irrigation we shall be able to beat the climate change related issues, plus construction of varied dams so that there is water for both the animals and human beings.
Government has also approved 135 billion Uganda shillings to help in food distribution. Adia Nakuti and Sudat Kaye, UBC.
Response Innovation Lab Uganda, in partnership with 5 other non-governmental organizations, has launched 5 different projects aimed at improving nutrition, especially for children in refugee hosting communities. The approach uses local innovations to solve humanitarian challenges. We have a detailed report.
Uganda currently hosts an estimated 1.4 million refugees, with majority coming from South Sudan and the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC. However, refugees and the hosting communities face a number of challenges, one of them being poor nutrition, particularly among children. To address these challenges, Response Innovation Lab Uganda, a global network of field-based labs aimed at finding solutions for humanitarian challenges, has launched 5 different projects to tackle the problem of malnutrition among children in refugee hosting communities.
At the moment, the funding available for supporting them is reducing, which means that it's very hard for them to sustain their families, and we can see that young children are not getting the right food that would allow themselves to develop to their full potential. It's really critical that children receive the right nutrients between the time of conception up to 2 years of age, and right now these opportunities for families are compromised. So we decided to look in Uganda, in the very rich and innovative ecosystem of Uganda, if we could find solutions that would be bringing relief to those families.
One of the innovations to be implemented in Rhino Camp refugee resettlement in Arua district is the solar drying project that will help women earn money from dry agricultural products.
The solar dryer, how does it help the refugees? Is that usually during the dry season there is not enough vegetables for refugees to consume, so you find that there is very low consumption of vegetables and fruits during the dry season.
Glue University will implement the application of millet, simsim and soybean to solve chronic malnutrition.
Our product meets the protein requirement which is needed for the growth of children, and when we talked about chronic malnutrition, protein is very important because it is needed for body growth. It also meets energy requirements for children, and micronutrients, especially vitamin A and iron, but also other micronutrients.
Health for Entrepreneurs Uganda, a non-government organization, will also ensure basic health access and promotion in the refugee hosting communities.
So we work with PhDs that are in very much remote and rural areas. We give them an opportunity to become an entrepreneur. So they get a training from us, they get a smartphone that has health educational apps, a product application. They get credit to start a very small health shop.
Response Innovation Lab Uganda is hosted by Save the Children, and the 5 different projects designed to tackle malnutrition in refugee hosting communities in Arua and Chekegwa will last 2 years. Adia Nakuti and Jamil Sekaja, UBC.
Local leaders in Kakanju, Ruhumuro and Chamuhunga sub-counties have been urged to support government developmental programs. The latest in that line is a water supply system that will address the age-old problem of lack of clean and safe water.
National Water and Sewerage Corporation is working tirelessly to increase accessibility to safe and clean water in many areas of the country, including Bushenyi district.
I want to thank government. I want to thank His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. He pledged in his manifesto that each village should have 2 taps, and I'm happy with National Water that they are executing his program. We are here because there is a project that is going to begin that will serve about 7 sub-counties that have no water.
This is a presidential promise that has witnessed launch of construction and extension works of Walugo Water Project, which is expected to cost around 11 billion Uganda shillings.
Overall objective of Walugo Project is to increase pipe water coverage in the following areas: the Kakanju Sub-County, Bitoma Town Council, we have Chamunga Town Council and Sub-County, then we have Ruhumuro, and also, as the previous speakers have said, the excess water will now go to other areas under Ishaka branch to boost supply in our existing network.
But despite these efforts by government to improve water access and quality, there is a resistance from many circles that are now advised to desist.
For us as the local government, we are going to make sure that at least we assist them where possible to make sure that this project is a success. Second, I was appealing to the local leaders and local community to make sure that they allow and they give leeway to these people, to make sure that they allow them to pass their pipes because National Water is not going to compensate them.
This water project is expected to be complete in 1 year.
Ni MTN Kabode Super as you pay mpola for this smartphone. Make calls, update your WhatsApp status, watch YouTube, and Google anything under the sun with 2 GB worth of data every month for 7 months. Simply make a small deposit of 99k and pay the balance mpola. You can pay in daily, weekly or even monthly installments while you enjoy your new phone. So what are you doing today? Visit any MTN shop near you and get the MTN Capote super easy.
Are you a player in the tourism sector with a struggling business following the COVID pandemic? UDB, in partnership with European Union, is providing financial assistance to businesses operating in the tourism sector. You can access subsidized loan with grants, loan with a tenor of up to 5 years, free business advisory services, and free environmental impact assessment. Visit www.udbl.co.ug/call for applications to apply. Deadline for submission is 31st October 2022 at 5 p.m. For more information, please call 0414 355 509.
A good school doesn't tolerate violence against children.
Because a good school equals a better life.
Raising voices.
I remember the lockdown, when the streets were empty and our lives disrupted, when businesses closed and our livelihoods hung in the balance. Hospitals were full. We lost loved ones, jobs, and hope. Our children couldn't study anymore. We cannot let this happen again. We should not go back. Get fully vaccinated against COVID-19 and join the millions of Ugandans who are already vaccinated.
All right, our time is fast spent. We're now going to be switching into the Alcon League, where Nigeria is versing Zambia in the losers match in the battle for the third place. I'll be handing you over to Peter Otai to commentate on that event. So thank you for being a lovely audience. My name is WADULO Mark Arnold. Catch you tomorrow, same time, same place.